Hi there. Sorry. Just reading the chat.
What up? No, you don't.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Over the stream.
You like collector's editions? They'll look like this. We should mention that Deep Silver was cool enough to be involved with this, so they've supplied all these cool giveaways that you guys can win.
Yeah.
And one of them is collector's editions.
And there's 3 of them. So they'll be popping up across the stream throughout the next couple of hours. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, I suppose. Let's get on with it.
I see. Well, actually, we have the guy who could probably say that a little better.
That was very convenient with the
not
the collector's edition just there, Adam.
Oh, yeah, it's convenient. It wasn't, like, planted or anything. Wait, let Corey do that.
I see.
Right, what mode am I going for? What do we reckon?
Nightmare.
Nightmare?
The one and only
Yeah.
mode for
Go
it.
for Nightmare. Yeah.
Oh.
Got to
Yes, he did.
Did he do it? Okay.
Someone said
No,
Nightmare.
Nightmare's cool.
I'm doing Nightmare.
Yeah.
And if it's too hard, I'll stop.
He's a hardcore Shenmue fan. He's, he'll be okay with that.
I think Nightmare mode adjusts the how much health and every NPC has and the timing of the QTEs, if I remember correctly.
Destiny has come.
I think you also need to have more money, to buy the Blowjob thing later in the game.
Oh, gotcha. And the arcane book for reverse body check as well, I think.
I think so.
I shall give you the family treasure, the sword.
Yeah, I gotta
of 7
admit,
stars.
the cave
Think
theme
of the
that
sword
plays
as a
during
part
this
of me,
cutscene is just,
and keep it with you.
it hits every time. It just hits the feels.
I shall
So
always watch over you.
Oh, Casey's here from Sega Lounge. I can see Sheephead's in. I see Paddy's in.
Oh,
Katana's
nice.
in.
Hello, everyone, by the way.
Iapol's in.
Right.
It's absolutely buzzing. I love it.
Nice. Thank you all for joining.
Hey, everyone, welcome.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming.
Don't forget, the game is now available on Steam and GOG. You can get those. Is it GOG or GOG?
I usually say GOG.
I say GOG, but it doesn't
I
matter.
didn't know if it's one of those like GIF versus GIF things, although GIF is objectively correct.
Doesn't matter. Everybody knows what it is.
Either way, the games are available now over there if you want to check them out on PC.
And this is the Steam version that I'm playing right now.
Don't forget the PS4 version, it's still available. Just saying.
So,
What is this?
people have waited a long time for this game, and an extra year for Steam, but there you go. Play it now.
Hashtag escaped the
A
cave.
dragon and a phoenix.
Now, what was everybody's reaction to this?
Just like the
when you
mirrors.
first did this?
This what this
This is
particular
what he
scene.
was working
Yeah,
on.
just to getting out of the cave after what was it, 20 years?
From a distant
cried.
land in the
It's
east.
on
mean,
video.
From
yeah, I mean,
across the sea, he
Corey,
shall
you were the
appear.
only one of us who was actually stuck in the cave
He
for
does
20
not
years.
know of
What was
the
that like?
strength
How did
hidden
you
within
how did
him.
you get by?
The strength that would destroy him. The strength that would fulfill his wishes.
Doing a lot of
When he is ready, he shall seek me out.
Cool.
And we shall
Now-
brave together the rocky
So
path.
I gotta
shall
know,
wait.
Corey,
This
why didn't you
encounter
just
has been
walk
my
out of the
destiny
cave?
since
You had 20
ancient
years.
times.
Why are we waiting so long? I mean,
A dragon shall emerge
That's true.
from the earth, and dark clouds
Okay.
shall obscure the heavens.
right.
A phoenix shall descend from above. Its wings will create a purple wind
out the cave
in the midst of the pitch black night.
No, that's actually a valid
The
answer. I
morning
accept
star
that.
shall glisten.
Corey, can you turn yourself up a little bit? if
What
you
is that
possible.
poem?
It has been told in the village since
I
long
thought
ago.
it was nice of Landy to hold on to Shenhua's father for 20 years as well, just so.
Kept him
Yeah,
fed.
I mean, Lundy's not actually all that bad. I mean, he really just wanted, a stone. And, that's, I mean, sure, WoW died in the process, but I mean, he really just wanted a rock. Any one of us could have just handed him a rock and he would have been fine. He was like a little kid, but he wanted a fancier rock. If only he had known about these big rocks, but you knew about them for 20 years.
It was probably just an accident anyway. You know how you and your friends are messing around and you accidentally punch him in the nose and he's got a broken nose?
Yeah.
It's probably the same thing with Iwao, right? It was just kind of like,
Bailu Village.
I'll allow you to die like a warrior. And then he hit him and he was like, and then he just like left because he didn't know what to do.
Well, dude, it was really awkward. He just killed it. Wow. He was like, oh, wow.
He's like, don't
bad.
tell my mom, okay? Don't tell my mom. And then he left.
Sure.
And then the whole story got started on just basically a misunderstanding. It's like, really, when you think about it,
Hey,
you're going into
Shenhua.
the dojo to, like,
We have to
hang
get to
around
the
with
village.
Fukusan. It would be like if you
Let's go.
accidentally hit him too hard,
Do you
and then
have any
Ine-san's
idea
like,
where your
oh,
father
what
might
have you
have gone?
done? And you just run off, which
No, I
you
don't.
essentially did. So maybe
It's
Ine-san's
kinda-
trying to find you now.
It's kind of like that
Has
time I
this
was
ever
practicing
happened
martial arts
before?
in my living room, and I
With my
knocked over
father?
that pot that was on the
Has he ever disappeared without
the
telling
side table,
No,
and I blamed it on the
never.
dog. It's kind of like
I
that,
see.
right? I mean, still to this day, my mom doesn't
Are
know
you
that
certain that
you know,
letter from the cave
I broke that
was-
pot. So
She does. I
It's his
tweeted at her
handwriting,
about it.
without a doubt.
Okay.
I do realise that
Are you
everyone,
sure
there could be
it
people in
didn't
here that have never
contain
played
any
the Shenmue
clues?
series, and they're just taking whatever you're saying.
That's all, dude, Sega themselves
know.
is in the chat telling them
Honestly,
how
I
to
don't
get the
care
bad
about the
ending
letter.
to
I
kill
just want
Rio.
to find my
Okay,
father.
so it's fine.
I understand.
You just have to keep finding warehouse number 8 like 50 times when you're at the heart.
Yeah, and then eventually the calendar gets to a point where the game's like, I guess you didn't want to finish me, and so Londi shows up and just kills you.
Yeah.
It's accepted.
Or he steals Shenhua in Shenmue 2 if you get the bad
Hey.
ending.
For the longest time, Shenhua getting hit by a rock and dying in Shenmue 2 was the canon ending. So I'm glad that we got this. This is amazing. And you can go get it over on Steam and GOG. See how that segue works? Anyway,
That was nice.
thank
Till
you.
this day, I
Like-
still have never gotten that bad ending with the Shenhua rock scene.
You would have to like try to get
Yeah.
that. Like you have to
Exactly.
go out of your way.
I'd
Yeah, I've
like to
never
meet the
gotten it either.
person that actually got it.
Speaking of the bad ending,
especially.
I do say that the bad
Hello,
ending
Leo.
to Shenmue, I believe it's Shenmue 2,
Shenhua.
adds
Who's
some of the
this?
most intense
This is Leo.
lore to the
He
game
saved me
because
from drowning in
Shenhua
the
literally
river.
starts talking to Rio without him even meeting her yet, which is really interesting to like the deep, mysterious lore of Shenmue and what's going on in the series. That was something really
Did
interesting.
something happen?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's actually two bad endings. There's one before you meet Shenhua, and there's one
Really?
after you do.
Yeah, the kind we don't normally see.
Right?
here.
I believe so. So Shenmue 2, if that's the case, then there's 3 bad endings, because obviously you have the rock ending that we just talked about. You have the one that I mentioned, but I only recall there being one bad ending.
Well, there's
If
the
you
rock
wait-
ending. Yeah, there's the rock ending, and then there's the Londi shows up with the Phoenix Mirror
Hey,
ending.
Shenhua,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
where
that,
the mirror
that
is
ending
back.
is.
does the village?
can't-
That's
gotta
that's the
keep
one that gives us
No.
gave us the biggest clue
There's
as to
no
what
need for
Shenmue
them.
3 was going to
Bailu
consist
is a
of.
very
Yeah.
peaceful
Which now
place.
you can go play for
Are you sure
yourself.
about that? Because they said something.
It's
You
still
can
really
raise the
difficult
cover
to know if this game
Yes,
exists
but
just
it
because,
sounds like they're not
we
from around
wanted
here.
it for so long.
Still,
Like, when I talk to my friends about Shenmue, like,
Even
even
for
just
you?
mentioning Shenmue 3
Yeah.
still feels
I
like
admit,
it's all
I'm a
one
little
big
unsettled
dream. you know?
myself.
Dude,
The village
the
feels
fact that this game
different
exists
somehow.
is
I
basically
can
like,
imagine.
as you said, it's essentially a
Let's
dream come
ask
true.
around
The
for
the
some
odds of it
clues.
working out were not in
Let's go.
anybody's favor, but the community got together.
That was a
We got
pretty old
support.
bridge.
Obviously, Yu Suzuki was a
Indeed.
huge, if not the
That's
single
the velvet
biggest
bridge.
factor of that, of like his
That's what it's
desire to
called.
actually get it made.
Yes.
Obviously, Sega
It's
was
been in
super
Bailu for a
cooperative with
while.
letting it happen. And then you
Mhm.
got to give props
Is
to
that
Deep
the
Silver, who
village
was like, "Yeah,
up
we're
ahead?
gonna come in there and help
Yes.
out," along with
Everyone
places
lives up
like
ahead. We can ask
Sony
around.
obviously was very
Someone's
cooperative.
bound to
Epic
know
was
something.
cooperative, and
not waste another
it's
second.
amazing that the game exists. And once
Yeah.
again, you can go check it out. It's available on Steam and GOG.
Yeah,
You know-
so it's like kind of a like not only did the fans come together, but the people that made it happen behind the scenes all work together. just one big loving family to get this game to happen.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. There's so much that could have gone wrong there, but you know, the way Adam phrased it is absolutely true. You know, so many people got together and were so cooperative to make it happen. Because I mean, if you guys know anything about entertainment, that kind of stuff is really kind of rare. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times things just even things that are like already getting made sometimes get dropped because, you know, somebody decides to whatever. There could be 1,000 different things that happen that go wrong, but this was like a perfect storm of everybody getting together and making it happen.
Well said, son.
Mm.
So, Corey, what was your reaction to getting a phone call from YSNet or whoever phoned you to say
By the
that
way,
you're back in the...
That's my cameo in the game right there. The guy teaching the kids. That's totally me.
Oh, nice.
I just wanted to point that out before Corey takes kids a serious answer. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually found out the same time everybody else did
I'm
with
sure
the announcement
we'll
of
find
the
out
game.
more
I
about
got
your
no
father.
phone call
Thanks.
or anything like that. I
You
did not have
investigate
any
here,
secret
Yo.
information.
I'll
I
try
actually
another
found out
settlement.
the same time everybody else did. So when you see the fan reactions, the compilation of fan reactions throughout YouTube of Shenmue 3 being released, I was basically one of those guys. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh yes. And so there's a whole story of me coming home, and you know, my wife letting me know that that it had been announced. So I don't know if you want me to go into the whole story or not, but I just had this, you know, jubilation
Yeah,
on me,
sure.
on
Yeah,
my
do.
inside, because it's just like,
I think it's interesting.
How
Yeah.
about a game of Lucky
oh, okay,
Hit?
cool. And then
Um,
because you know I'm
come
a
on,
fan of the
try
game
it.
myself, so it's just so excited
Not
to
right
people
now.
say the same thing, you know, like
so you don't
uh,
like Lucky Hit?
we just wanted this story to continue, so we know what happens and all that kind
Lucky
of stuff,
Hit.
because it's like a big
Hello.
cliffhanger and all.
Will you try
So-
Lucky Hit?
But yeah, so the story of me coming home, and I obviously
Now
I
then,
realized that
Pick a platform.
E3 was happening at the time, and it's funny. So I had my daughter with me, Katana, and I had a whole bunch of stuff in my hands. I don't know, probably a bag and like some groceries or something like that, and all these things. So I'm kind of like have all these things gathered in my hand, and then like suddenly my phone starts going off. So it's like ding, 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 and it starts to buzz in my pocket, and it's like going off. You know, it's just like all this is happening, and I'm thinking like, okay, wow,
Yes!
something big's happened. You know what I mean? Like something crazy's happened. So I thought, well, what is it? Is it another national
Not
emergency?
bad.
Oh man, I hope not.
Will
Hopefully
you
it's
keep
not
going?
another 9/11 or something like that, or hopefully it's not a tragedy in the
Now
family.
then,
And I thought,
Pick a platform.
what if it's something awesome? What if it's like, no, don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Those
No,
are the
no,
two
because-
possibilities. It's either Shenmue
Yeah.
or a national
or something crazy, right?
a world
And I was
disaster.
like,
Yeah.
no, let's. I don't want to get my hopes up. Let's just hopefully it's hopefully it's not a national emergency, but let's okay, well, whatever. And at this point, like the phone in my pocket's getting hot because it's vibrating and pinging so much. And I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to struggling up the stairs and all that kind of stuff, and then
It happens.
fumbling with the keys, trying to
Care
get
to
the door open. But my wife actually opens
Now
the
then,
door
Pick a
for
platform.
me. I think I probably even lost my keys in the door. She opens it up, and she has the iPad in her hands, and she's like, "Did you hear?" It's like, "Oh, is it about Shenmue?" And she goes, "Yeah, it is." So of course we had to go and go straight to my TV so we could bring up E3, the live E3 on my TV, and yeah, found out that it was happening, and it was just again just like,
This is where the game
yes,
gets interesting.
finally.
It's awesome.
And then,
Care to
and then
try
I had
again?
the thought of, oh yeah, great, I get to work on it too, and that's
Maybe some
also
other
gonna
time.
be great.
Hope
So
to see you again soon.
It's
Wait,
amazing.
so when you first talked to her, she opened to you like doing an impression of you? She just went, "Did you hear?"
did you hear?
So that's how
Yeah.
that would have been the best way for her to reveal it to you. Where she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
does an impression of you.
It's
Did I
good
just
that
blow
you
your
go,
mind? Did I just blow your mind,
did you
Corey?
hear the
Have you seen
world's
Mr.
Actually,
Yuen?
the world's
that may have
ending?
been
I don't know.
an impression of
Really?
And
I
see,
don't
I was
know
doing an impression of
anything.
her, and she was doing an
I
impression of
see.
me. So I was just doing. So it's a double impression.
Whoa.
Did I just blow your mind there?
You blew the Matrix. That's what you just did.
Okay, then. So the next question I have is: fast forward to when you actually started recording for Shenmue 3, and it's real, it's happening. How did that feel?
Oh yeah, that's interesting, because it's like, okay, it's really happening, right? And yeah, we just talked about how so many things can go wrong all the time. It's kind of like you almost feel like you almost want to have like cautious optimism until it's actually released or something, you know. But yeah, you know, it was great because obviously the environment was different and everything. We had a different voice director. Everything was here in Los Angeles, so definitely different. But it just felt like, oh yes, you know, this is like, it's almost like returning home. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm in this great, like familiar space where I feel just happy to be there, just happy to be working. You know, just so excited to continue the story and just wanting to know what's going on because, unfortunately, because being here in Los Angeles, we were a little bit separated from everything that was going on. So I kind of like got the story as I was recording it. I kind of didn't know what was going on, and so being surprised myself, just you know, voicing everything that's going on, voicing the whole story. So, and that's another thing too. It was a little bit of a puzzle because when we did Shenmue 1 and 2, I mean, not exactly, but we did things relatively in order. This time was all back and forth. This, you know, it's like these things got finished, so we had to record this stuff right away, and then other things had to come later, and then a lot of NPC stuff, and then suddenly, you know, ending, and then more NPC stuff. It's like, oh wow, we were really jumping back and forth a lot. So that was also kind of strange and exciting for me to get these bits and pieces of information. So, but yeah, I think that's it. You know, it's like
go to that house over there.
You know, I don't know if anybody's ever like gone to college or lived somewhere else in a different state or something like that, and then came home, and then you see your familiar home, like or your town, and then you go into your house and you smell a familiar, you know, scent that makes you happy and warm and whatever. You know what I mean? I guess I almost felt like that when I was in the recording booth. I was like, oh yes, all these really great memories. I get to relive that again. You know.
Do they spray you with cologne of Essence of Sailor? That helps?
Well, they only fed me garlic while I was recording, so.
That is the weirdest thing about this game. It's like Rio's just like, I didn't eat for the first two, and now all I want is garlic cloves by the pound. Give them to me. I need them in my life.
Explains why some of the NPCs are like, what do you want? Because they're like, oh, the garlic guy is back.
Yeah. And everywhere he goes, everybody just keeps their distance. And Shenhua's like, why don't you just go out on your own today? It's fine. You know, like, you know what? Now we're in Niaowu, and, you know, we should go separately to these objectives. Just you away from me, basically, is my goal.
Yeah, I kind of recorded by myself all the time. Nobody really wanted to talk to me. I don't know.
Maybe Joe's daughter Lean knows where he is.
I like
lots of garlic.
I like Project Katana's suggestion that Rio's breath is like kicking like kung fu. So essentially, it's like it actually increases his strength, because the whole game is like his big training where he's going to be prepared to be a stronger and better fighter. And garlic's like a bonus defense weapon. You know, it adds a level of shielding that weakens the opponent.
That's true, especially when you get in close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you start within arm range. That's when it's like really.
All right. Corey, with the emphasis of "let's get sweaty," please say "let's get smelly."
Let's get smelly.
There, credit to Project Katana. That was a great line.
Shenmue 4. That's your next line.
I'm good.
Jibby's theory is that Londi might be a vampire, which would actually think about it.
Come by any time if you've got any.
But again, if anyone's never played Shenmue before, this isn't canon. It's
it might be. We don't know.
It was a very cloudy, you know, started out rainy and then snowy day, so the sun really wasn't shining
Yeah.
You know, might be
And
might be a vampire.
And a lot of the days in Yokosuka, it is like, you know, overcast and dark, so it's a possibility. And then Londi only stays inside until you see him at night on the boat.
Mm.
And when he
We
was
got a
burning
theory.
to death in the
We got a
fire,
theory
he
going.
didn't.
Yeah.
The fire
That
didn't
looks
affect him.
great.
The fire doesn't affect him because it's not sunlight, it's just fire. But we didn't come out until nighttime. And in Shenmue 2, you don't see him until the sun is setting.
We gotta put a mirror up to
I
him.
think you're onto something there.
I might be onto something, that's
Yeah,
right.
She is. Say.
Oh,
do
is
you know
this the
Mr.
character
Yen?
that we're seeing right now? Is that the one that my daughter played? The
Possibly.
young girl in pink.
No.
Oh no, I think
actually,
it's a different. Is
He's
it?
a
Is that
stone
her
man.
or is
It's
it a
a
different girl?
The one in yellow.
I think it's a different girl.
Corey.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Your
Yeah.
dad?
Yeah.
Yeah,
is a stonemason
my daughter
as well?
would remember, and it's been oh yeah, that's right. So this is not the girl we play hide
I
and seek
talk to
with.
him?
That's right. Okay, that's cool.
I think if you, I remember knocking on some of the doors around
He
the
does.
village here at the start of the game, and she
Okay.
calls out
Thanks.
to Rio through the door.
Mm.
No problem.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to try.
So
that.
there's a little fact for some people who may not know. My daughter made her appearance in this, which is great because I had been acting for a long time, but my very first voiceover job I ever had was Shenmue. And my daughter is the same thing. She's an actress. She's done a whole bunch of different things, but the very first voice job that she's ever had was in Shenmue. So we've kind of come full
That's
circle
cool.
where yeah, it's like our first
Can you see her getting
adventure
a, like
into
a
voiceover.
Can you see her getting another role in Shenmue 4? Like maybe like a main character or something, like a female
Oh,
protagonist?
that might be interesting, especially now that she's a little bit older. You know, her voice is, is more mature, where she could play a greater range of characters. And it's great too because she's into anime and video games herself, so she kind of tends to do voices while she's playing games or while she'll copy some of her favorite characters on anime and stuff like that. So she can play older roles now and younger roles. She did play a couple different roles in this one where she played a young boy, she played a younger girl, and then she played the girl that we play hide and seek with. But now it's like she's almost got, she's pretty close to having almost a woman's voice. So she has a much greater range where she could not only play characters but also play age ranges and stuff like that as well. So
Beat me.
that'd be
what?
great. We probably do
exchange
another
rate
audition
ain't
to see if she
budging.
gets
So smile,
something
nod,
in
and buy your
Shenmue
tokens.
4 if and when that comes
okay.
out. So
For the record, I was going to say Shenmue 4 does not exist. If you want Shenmue 4, it doesn't hurt to support Shenmue 3 by buying it on Steam and
Buy some
GOG.
tokens if you want to play.
I'm just saying, vote with your wallet.
Yep.
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, that's the
Get
that's
on
the
it,
best
buy
way
it.
that we
How
can
many
make
do
sure
you
that
want?
happens.
It's just simple economics. Game makes money, you get more game. Boom.
And just buy it again if you've already bought it. We've all
Yeah.
bought it about 10
Like
times.
I have 4 copies still left of me, and that's the tip of the iceberg, son.
Yeah,
You
I
can
got multiple
exchange
copies.
tokens
Yeah.
for
Yeah, see,
prizes.
here's my
Sure to head to the
European
prize exchange
PS4
after.
collector set, which, by the way, you can
Then
totally
take
win
your
one
prize to
tonight.
the
There's
pawn
3 that they're
shop
giving
and
away.
sell. So more
Then
tokens
there
means
is the
more money.
limited run games
Good luck
edition
out
collector's set that has a bunch of stuff inside that we're also giving away.
Mhm.
I have the standard vanilla PS4 copy right here. And then we have the French
Turtle races, huh?
Pix in Love
Hey,
collector's
you wanna
edition.
play?
I like all of them. I have more of them too,
Violet
dude. I have the
Village's
Russian
own
copy.
turtle race.
Like, I got a bunch of stuff. But
That's right.
I'm just saying, go out there,
How much
support
will
it
you
on
put-
Steam and GOG, and that's your best bet ever to get Shenmue 4.
You don't
But
actually
it
own
won't.
Shenmue 3 unless you've bought it at least 5 times. And then
Yeah, it's true. There's actually a science to that. I don't know what it is, but it's there.
Right, which colour am I going for?
Ooh. Okay, let's see.
I'd say Sonic Blue, but
Did I hear blue? Let's go blue.
No, I think Sonic Blue. I think that's good. Sega's here. They're supporting. Let's
Sega
support
Blue, yeah.
them.
Blue,
Yeah,
blue
Sega
it is.
Blue.
On a note of wanting to get Shenmue 4, also every 4th of the month, Shenmue Dojo does a tweet-a-thon where you can tweet out the hashtag Let's Get Shenmue 4, which also raises awareness on social media.
very true.
God, I hate this
And-
game.
Well, when's the next one? Well, 4th of January, so it'll be the new year when
New
the next
year.
one is.
God, doing
Start
this
off
with
the new year with
a
a big
surgically
push.
repaired hand is never fun.
And don't forget we got the anime to look forward to
Yeah.
at some point.
Who's looking forward to that?
So,
I know I
well,
am.
everyone, I hope. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like the anime and like how far into the story it goes. And like I would be very interested to see how the world of Shenmue translates to an anime. Because Shenmue has a lot of world building, right? Like NPCs you can talk to learn more about them and all that. Like for instance, Kurita-san, who runs the military surplus shop on Dobita Street, or Dobita in Shenmue 1. Like, if you keep talking to him, he gets into a relationship with,
Nice, bro.
what's her name? I think it's the lady that runs the other flower shop. Not Nozomi's flower shop, but the other one. So, like little things like that in the first game, like, I'd be curious to see if they incorporate those into the anime, and if so, like, how does it work? Or if it's gonna be, like, more focused on Ryo and, like, his story. Really excited to see how they pull that off.
Right. Seeing as I've just won on turtle racing, I'm going to throw up the first competition and hope this goes well.
Guys who run the dojo, do you have any admins in the chat? I just have a question because Sega's trying to rehost the stream at the moment, but it's not working. And I'm wondering if there's some setting you guys need to enable. I'm not super familiar with how Twitch works. I'm a YouTuber.
I'm not sure, actually. Should just be rehosting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I just thought I'd ask if you have any guys who have
there's a
access
few
to that
in there.
stuff. Dig
I'll have a
around.
quick check now.
Right.
I'm on there now, so.
I'm going to start the competition for 2 steelbooks to give away. 5 minutes, and the instructions will come up in the chat any second.
Good luck, everyone.
This is where my internet decides it doesn't like it and won't work. Oh, there we go. We're good. It should come up in the chat in a second. And if it doesn't, I'll have to look at it.
I'll try and figure that out, by the way. I'm just looking through the stuff now.
There we are. So enter exclamation mark raffle. You get entered in, and then after 5 minutes, I'll knock out 2 winners. Not literally knock out, but you know what I mean. It's been a long week. It's been a really long
You
week.
don't win anything. You just get
Reverse body
counted.
check all the winners. Blah!
We're gonna
Yeah.
unleash counter elbow
Or they
assault.
get that garlic breath.
Get knocked out by my breath is what happens.
It's the best skill book in Shenmue 3, garlic breath.
I think I'd rather that than the steelbook.
Excellent. There's loads of people entering. Fantastic. Rhea's walking into a telephone pole. Great. Right, let's play some Pale Toss.
Dude, I'm so addicted to Pale Toss. I find it so much fun. I don't know why. Like, it's just every time I play through Shenmue 3,
What?
first thing I do, Pale Toss all 3, get to all 3 prizes. Because one of them's for the Future Dreams subquest that the little kid gives you.
Don't know why it's.
But
Hang on a
it's just
second.
really fun. Love it.
2 seconds. One of my competitions is out of fit. Right. Sorry.
I agree with that suggestion. We should give away garlic cloves.
It's just the
Maybe
one
signed
entry.
by Corey.
I don't know why.
Signed by Corey.
Don't know why Streamlabs has put up the collector's edition. Ignore the
How about if I
collector's
just take a
edition,
bite out of
everyone.
it?
It's not.
Just
Thanks.
a little
Playing up.
Aim carefully.
That's bitten into.
I'll fix that in a minute.
Can you say that again, Corey?
Yeah, I was just saying, how about if I just take a bite out of it and then just send him the garlic clove with just a chunk out of it?
So that's good. They'll have your DNA and they can make their own Corey.
Nice, all right.
Yeah.
Right, see how bad I do at this. Yeah! Everyone missed the first throw, which was beyond terrible. There you go.
It's two for 2, man. Or
That
was that
was
3?
all right. Want to go again?
Yeah, give it another go.
Thanks. Aim
I
carefully.
don't know why I keep...
So, what's everyone's favorite additional minigame introduced in Shenmue 3? Since we're playing the minigames.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Cheers, Flagship, for the sub.
I tend to play that like moon and bird thing a
Yeah,
lot.
the marble one, right?
Flower, bird, wind, and moon.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds about right. Let's go with that.
I tend to actually do well on that one, so I tend to play that one a lot. And
Yeah.
that's what helps me like make money because
That's-
that's
yeah.
my main goal of that one.
I'm with you on that exact sentiment. I'm like, I like it because I win at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I always appreciated how Rio like has the confidence. He's just like this one and just pounds the token on the table.
Bam.
Well, you know, maybe Corey can do a little reenactment of that.
Do it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me get something that makes some good noise. Hold on a second.
Someone mentioned
All right, ready?
wood chopping.
This one. How about that?
Works for me.
All right.
Excuse me.
Actually,
What is
you know,
it?
every time I'm not a big gambler, but
What?
maybe
I'll
just
get
from
it.
now on I'll have to just like you said, you just have to exude confidence, and then
Mhm.
you win more, don't you? I mean, look at
Last 50 seconds
look
for
at
the
James
competition.
Bond, right?
Excuse me. What is it?
Speaking of flower, bird, wind, and moon, one thing I
I
always
hear I
appreciated
can earn
about
some
the
money
Shenmue
here.
series in general
If you're
is the subtle use
yeah.
of some of the mythological symbolism that
Right.
the story itself takes inspiration from. Like, for instance, in Shenmue 2, when you're getting the keys to get into Zuyonda's office, by putting 4 specific keys
That's it.
into the holes in the, I think it's is it a Buddha statue? Or I forget what exactly the
That's it.
statue is. And those 4 keys represent the 4 mythological beasts, which represent the 4 leaders of the Chiyu men. And like, it gets so deep so fast that I've
That's
always
it.
appreciated that about the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
There's a lot of lore to learn really in the series that most people just take for granted. They wouldn't even notice it
Right,
happening.
right. And I was about to say that there's the difference between the casual player who can enjoy the game, you know, just for the story, all the surface things
Perfect.
where you meet the characters, you go through the story, and you try to find Landy and get your revenge and all that kind of stuff. Or you could be that kind of player who loves to just dive into that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
it.
I think that's what's a lot of times, really good movies or really good games do that a lot, right? Where it gives you the option to enjoy the game,
That's it.
and then just be a casual player, just have fun,
Yes.
beat up the bad guys and play out the story. Or again, going into the
Yes.
and then maybe even looking stuff up on your own, or going into forums and stuff like that, having discussions with people, because you really can go down a rabbit hole and discover all these mythological things, or enjoy fan theories and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, that is pretty great about Shenmue, that you have that option.
Yeah, I've always kind of mentally compared it to The Shining, the movie.
This
Yeah.
is good work.
Only because, like, The Shining, you can watch it at face value, but it's when you think more deeply about some of the things that you
No.
see, it
Yeah.
adds a
Hey,
lot
horse
more
it, the
context to
job.
certain things. And I always felt Shenmue kind of has a similar approach to storytelling.
Right. I'm going to draw the first competition. So
What was this? What was the prize against, Bud?
they were steelbooks, he says.
Oh yeah.
As long as it hasn't.
The here in the US, those
Oh
were the
no,
Best
it's a
Buy
collector's edition.
one.
My bad. It's gone collector's edition for some reason, so we're going for it. 3 winners. They'll be popping up in a minute. So
Drum roll.
Oh, the
another
big
one.
prize is straight away.
Congratulations,
Nice.
Pingui Boo,
Yeah,
Rappin' Root Beer,
and one more. I don't know why I didn't that way round, but you know what? Why not? And Andy Mavis as
and
well.
Andy Mavis. You guys all
Wow.
just won Shenmue 3 collector's editions.
Yes.
I assume they're the European versions, but they're region free, and it looks like this. Look at that.
Excellent.
It comes with all sorts of good stuff. I'll go ahead and read it to you. It comes with the game. It comes with stickers. Mine's in German, but I'm guessing that's what they are. It comes with a couple of Phoenix mirrors and like patches and a Lichtbox, which is a light or a lamp. I don't speak German, is it obvious? But it comes with the Spiel. I do like it in German though, because it comes with, it says Die Collector's Edition, which is German. For the but
Yeah,
But yeah,
I don't think mine is in German.
No,
So-
you're in the UK. You can actually buy it locally. I had to,
Right.
buy it online. All the UK versions were out of stock, but the German ones were easy enough to get.
Yeah,
But anyway,
mine's not so harsh about killing it.
yeah, it's just like play it.
The winners drop us a DM or one of the mods a DM, and we'll sort out contact details. It might be easier if we if you drop us a DM and I can sort that out. And if I can't get hold of you, I'll get it later. Right.
Yeah, you can send a message to Shenmue Dojo in the chat. I'll just type now. Hi. And if you send a message to the 3 winners that just won, I'll get some details off you.
Right.
Shenmue 3 inspired me to only eat garlic. How do you feel about that, Corey, knowing that you've changed a life?
Well, Shenmue has been, pretty... has changed so many people's lives in so many ways for the positive, And, just going on a straight garlic diet is, I'm sure it's going to change somebody's life in a profound way. So I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah, good luck to you, dude.
Pardon me.
Shenmue 3 makes you cry. Garlic makes you cry.
I think that's onions.
Oh, is it onion?
Talk to you for a moment.
Oh, I tried to be cool. Totally messed that up.
Start crying,
You know this man?
He's my friend, Daddy.
By the way, if anybody has
Well,
questions,
get
probably
to
for
it.
Corey, because he's
I
like the
haven't
cool
seen you
one.
in a
By
while.
all means, ask them.
If you know anything, I'd... Huh? What happened?
Skill, have you got the contact
Some
email
thugs I'd
for
never seen
everybody?
before showed up and wrecked my place.
Contact email.
Yeah, that was put in our when we arranged this
Thugs, huh?
from Deep
Why
Silver.
would they do this?
It's me. They asked if I was
oh,
a
right,
stonemason,
okay.
so I said yes.
Because if the winners
They
can,
just
we
went
give that to the
crazy.
winners, they can contact that directly, and then Deep
Why
Silver and
stonemasons?
Cox Media will send that out.
They were definitely
Yeah,
looking
no
for
one's
something.
actually sent me a message yet.
What did they
Oh.
that I
look
can
like?
see.
Well,
I'd
they
say I
weren't
haven't
from
got anything
around
either.
Here, that's for sure. There were 2 of them.
It's possible they may not
and
be
had
aware
a
that they won.
Shaved head with a tattoo on it. Don't tell me. They went to Yuen's place too.
I don't know.
Here's a great question.
You're in
Corey,
using the
how long
quarry
did it take for you
when
to
he
record
disappeared.
your lines for Shenmue
Kidding.
3?
Those
Oh, yeah.
thugs might have something to do with that too.
Ooh.
Maybe. I'll be sure to tell Shenhua.
That's a good question. Because it's funny, time went a little different for me because because it was here in Los Angeles. I knew exactly how much time that I spent in Japan because it's like I was abroad, right? I think it was
It's gotten so
relatively
dark.
about this.
Maybe I
Yeah,
should
I
head
was-
back to Shenhua's house.
It was definitely a month and a half, 2 months. Probably with the pickups as well. But there were several times that I was doing 5 days a week, and we were doing our 8-hour days, which was just like fantastic. You know what I mean? Like those were some grinding days. But yeah, so.
Have you learned anything new,
Because
y'all?
scheduling was pretty easy, we
Not
actually
about
had
your father. No.
a couple of different studios that we were working with. Not studios,
I
but
see.
well, I mean, we're in the same
It
building,
seems
but yeah,
that the
separate
thugs
studios. and we had
invaded
some
Mr.
pretty good
Joe's
facilities
home,
there. So we had
Joe,
2 or
you
3
mean Lean's
studios that
house?
we had people
They
going
must
back
have
and
my
forth
father
with all
then.
the time. We had
We shouldn't jump to conclusions.
actors in and out all day. But
I'm going
yeah,
with
I
you
think
tomorrow.
we recorded the whole thing in about
What?
2 months.
I
It was-
can't
it was
stop thinking about
relatively
these
quick
thugs.
because just
I
things
want
were
to
just a
know
little
more.
bit easier.
All right then.
It's okay,
We'll go
Mike. You can
together.
carry on playing, by the way.
Good.
I'm speaking to them now. It's cool.
Are we all good? Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll run another one in about 5 minutes.
Neoblast asks, do you have any Shenmue fun moments in Debuita Street, Adam or James? Something happening on the streets that you're like, oh my. I just went full George Takei there. The last time I was there, my buddy, I don't know if you're still in here, Brett. I hope you're in here. Brett and I went down to Yokosuka the day that this game came.
Yeah.
came out, like a bunch of photos and everything, you know, just marking the anniversary. In fact, we bought our copies of this game, Shenmue 3, which you can go buy right now. We bought it in Debuita, just so we could say that we bought them in Debuita, which was in of itself cool. But what I was trying to do is like take a bunch of photos that would kind of match the energy of what we were doing. And you have to understand, in real life, Yokosuka actually is an American naval base. And being an American, I thought, okay, I can do this. I can walk up to a sailor, I'm not kidding, and some guy in full uniform, and ask him if he'll like pose with me, like, I found a sailor, and he'd like Shenmue, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I was kind of going for. So I saw a dude coming out of a convenience store, which is actually the one that Tomato Mart is based on, by the way. He comes out, and I went full Corey. I just went, excuse me. And then the guy turns around, and I asked him, like, and he said he couldn't do it because they don't let him take stuff like photos like that in uniform. But he's like, otherwise I would totally do it. I don't care, but I can't do it for that reason. But that was my plan. That was my crazy idea in Debuita that day.
So you found the sailors.
On that day, I found the sailors. Actually, to be fair, dude, the sailors are everywhere in Yokosuka. Yeah. Corey, I'm sorry, you just did not try that hard. Like, they are everywhere, man.
Right.
James,
well,
that question is also for you.
With Nozomi, what can I say? It's
what, eating garlic? Like, what are you doing with her?
So when I went to Dobuita or Yokosuka in general the first time, I guess kind of the same, where like you walk around and you start to notice like the similarities and how, you know, maybe it's changed over the past however long it's been since Yu Suzuki was there, kind of like tailoring his game to be aesthetically by it. But I think my favorite moment was it was with the same guy Adam just mentioned, Brett, where we went to a park in Yokosuka that looks exactly like the park in Sakuragoka. And my favorite memory at that park was I was on the seesaw, which if you don't know what a seesaw is, it's kind of like a long bar and you have two people and you kind of do this. And I flew off the seesaw in the park in Yokosuka. It was great. That's my favorite memory.
You failed your QTE?
Yeah.
Yeah, you failed your QTE and Brett saw it.
I think Brett was the other guy in the seesaw. It might have been Karen, who was the other guy we were with. But there is a photo pre-flying off the seesaw that's really cool. I'll have to share it on Twitter or something one day.
Brett reminds me of the other crazy thing we did that day. So if you've been in Debuita, there's a bunch of street signs saying like you're in Debuita, Yokosuka, and we just found like on the street, we just found this great like plaque. And then I just decided to sit down on the ground, like, and like pose, like, you know, paint me like one of your French girls, like next to it, holding the game and taking a photo. And a bunch of Japanese people are just watching this, you know, nerdy gaijin taking these photos. And I think Brett was kind of blown away that I would just be so bold about it. But I'm like, dude, it's Shenmue.
Oh, one more story that comes to mind, and this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love this moment. It's like one of the best moments I've ever had. So me, Brett, Karen, who else was with us? We took a cruise down to Yokosuka Harbor, which is the same exact harbor that's in the Shenmue Harbor. So we got to do the path that Londi does, where you just cruise out. And I'll never forget. So that cruise was meant to, if I remember correctly, kind of talk about World War II, because obviously there's a lot of monuments in that area in regards to World War II. And the ladies who's presenting it, she's presenting it in Japanese, and everybody's sitting there watching. Meanwhile, me, Brett, Karen, and whoever else we were with, we were like, whoa, that's where we played chicken at the harbor. That's where the warehouses were. Like these Shenmue fans in the background just not paying attention. Like, oh my God, it's Yokosuka, you know? Oh man, it was so awkward. It was great. I love it.
I'm trying to think. Like, I ended up in Yokosuka like 4 separate times, so there was always something like bizarre that happened because that's such a weird area. That place is like, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's like the Disneyland interpretation of Japan. It's like, because it's like 50% America, 50% the US. Like there is actually literally an American side where there's a border control and everything. I've actually been to the American side. And it's kind of interesting as a Shenmue fan to go there because you can see like a little bit of imagery of it in Shenmue 1 at the harbor, but not much. And so going there, knowing like, dude, this is where the sailors came from. You know, like it just and walking around, it was just kind of surreal. Yeah, and then like I went to I actually went outside. I took a photo of it at the time and posted on Instagram of like the Yokosuka Naval Base Hospital. I'm like, this is where all the people who Rio beat up. This is where they ended up. They were in there. Yeah.
They were running out of beds. There were so many beat up sailors.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. One of the other things about Yokosuka that's kind of cool, and I didn't know this before I went there, was Yokosuka is known for its curry. Apparently, like curry is just like and maybe someone who knows Yokosuka really well can chime in on this, but curry seems to be like a local delicacy in that specific area. So there's a lot of curry flavored random things, and I had
It's like medieval curry.
I had curry flavored chocolate bars once when I was there, and that was really interesting. It's like one of those things that you think you wouldn't like before you tried it, but when you do, you just can't go back. Never again.
It's like those
So
red.
good.
It's like those red chili chocolate bars you can get over in the UK. They're weird, but do you know what? You get a taste for them. It's funny stuff. Right, I'm gonna crack on another competition.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of like garlic chocolate bars, you know. Like,
yeah, you might have an addiction, Corey.
You dream about it, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do. I mean, like we've seen what happens in your dreams. Like there's floating landis, there's clouds, there's big stone mirrors, there's women you've never met, and then there's giant garlic cloves that just come at you. That's basically Corey's night right there.
Yeah,
you need to grow some garlic and put it out as like a
fever dream, you know. It's like a fever dream, but it's really garlic and dream.
So everybody knows another competition's running right now. Win one of 2 mirror medallions. Get those entries in.
Someone needs to
win the medallions.
Where they change the big stone mirrors to garlic in the game. I'd ask Lemon Haze to do that.
Better catch her up.
The Japanese ain't playing with the good food, man. They're also not playing with the good games. In fact, this is a good game. It's Shenmue 3. You're watching it. You should go buy it. It's available on GOG and Steam now. Like, in all seriousness, to those perhaps just joining us, if you ever want a shot at a Shenmue 4, Shenmue 3, support it, vote with your wallet. Deep Silver took a chance on us, take a chance on them, support the game.
Yep, 100%. Get behind it.
We live in a world of economics. Tell them you want it, but tell them not with a tweet, but with your wallet.
Martial artists traveled here from all over the world.
Zyber's quote, I'm just going to read it. It's available on GOG and Steam? Is that what you said?
Yes, it is.
That is what I said. In fact, I'll say it again. It's available on Steam and GOG. Check it out.
And PS4. Don't forget.
Don't forget. Adam, you should make a cameo in like a Shenmue 3 update where you're like, hey, this game's available on GOG and Steam.
Yeah, like I'm just inserted. I'm new DLC. Annoying guy who tells us the game's available. We know we're playing it.
Adam, where you're the Billy Mays of Shenmue. Thank you.
But wait, there's more DLC.
Where in Shenmue 3 would you want to show up?
Oh, I think the only place that's logical for me is Niaowu. Like I would be hanging around with the Kitchen Brothers and just be like, "Yo, have you heard about this Steam and GOG release in 1987?"
You're just in the window with Joe stretching.
Yeah, just flexing. He's like in incredible shape, and I'm just like flexing my gut, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting bigger."
I guess we should add some context for those who don't know what we're talking about. But one of our friends is an NPC in Shenmue 3. And when you walk around Niaowu, there's this American dude. I forget his actual name in the game, but you'll see him flexing in the Niaowu hotel in the window, and that's our friend Joe. It's just so funny, love it, because he also bodybuilds in real life, so it's funny to see him flexing in Shenmue 3.
Now, the closest I get to that is I do have a capsule toy in this game. So what I'm thinking is, we have that upcoming like collector's edition from Limited Run Games. Maybe we do one last update to the game where when you win me, I just yell at you to buy the game on GOG. That's what I'm thinking. So that's the one line that's removed of Corey saying like, what is this or whatever, and replace it with GOG and Steam.
I will personally fund that
Rip that
recording.
audio clip out.
This is cool.
Can you do Rio telling us to get the game on GOG and Steam when he wins something out of a capsule toy? Like that context.
Okay.
Sonic fan Chris, Adam is the final boss of Shenmue 4.
Damn right I am.
I should
Wait,
get
sorry,
this on GOG.
Corey, start over.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting in the zone. Here we go. I should get Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam.
There you go.
How about that?
It's not bad.
That works.
All right. Did I do a good impression of Hazuki?
Maybe of you, yeah. Maybe I should get another copy on GOG and Steam.
Maybe I should get another.
Perfect.
Yeah. There we
Try
go.
it again.
Maybe I should get another. Maybe I should download on GOG and Steam.
There you go.
You know how when you go for the arcane scroll for reverse body check, it's like 5,000 yuan. When Rio looks at it, he's like, "Oh, this is like so expensive." The guy should be like, "But you know what's less expensive? Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam," and it's on his shelf.
Yeah, like we'll just turn the whole game into a series of ads to go buy the game they've already acquired.
I'm gonna open up my video editor right now and get that.
Do
going.
it.
Hang on.
What was that? Was there like what was that service? Like recently there was like a batch of commercials for something and they were like editing movies just to like advertise their service. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
No.
And all right, I forget what it was for. It was like a cable TV it doesn't matter. We would just basically re-edit aspects of moments of Shenmue 3 where they just stop out of nowhere and just say, yes, go buy Shenmue 3 again.
Or
And so,
like when you go to Master Bay, Grandmaster Bay, towards the end of the game, he's like, "I'll acknowledge your kung fu when you beat who is it? Gold Dragon, I think. I think that's the guy's name. The last guy you can fight in the Niawu area." And he'll be like, "I'll acknowledge your kung fu if you buy Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam."
well, that same guy, he was the same guy who was like, bring me like, alcohol and like, dumplings. He's just like, bring me copies of Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam, and then you can have your Shenmue 4. Like that's how we.
Probably a mod that can be done though, because you could just replace the item with like a fake box of Shenmue.
Yeah, so go ahead and put in a fake physical digital copy of Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam. It'll be great. Yeah.
That's the true good ending. There's an actual good ending if you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to draw the mirror medallions in a second, so keep your eyes out, everyone.
Yeah, you might win a medallion, everybody.
Let's see what we can do.
It's the version of the medallion that was inside the collector's edition, not the GameStop edition.
Right. So winner number one is actually Chow.
No way.
Yeah.
Congrats, Chow.
And then
Congrats.
number two is
Abdullah.
Abdullah Asif. If you can drop us a DM, guys, and Skill will sort you out.
Yeah, no problem. I'll sort it now.
Congratulations.
Don't
you guys
wor-
got personally congratulated by Sega. How does that make you feel? Probably helps you.
Makes him feel really good, I bet.
Yeah.
Friday
You know what
evening.
makes everybody? You know what makes everybody feeling good?
Go on.
Buying a copy of Shenmue 3 on GOG. It's like you just get a rush of endorphins. It's the best.
Rio's on his way to Uncle Tao's Get Shop to buy a copy of Shenmue 3.
Yeah, and once again in 1987, he logged into his Steam account and he got Shenmue 3.
We've already had a little bit of time travel on Shenmue, so it's possible.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm gonna
you-
bust out my Saturn 10 years
Yeah,
before.
what was it? Yeah, what was it like, Corey? When you went into the cave and you looked one way and you came out 20 years later and you were in like 4K. What was that like?
It was kind of like that moment where Dorothy stepped through the door and then everything was in color, Like, that's kind of what it felt like. Like, I was in a world of black and white when I went into the cave, and then I came out and I was like, what? My eyes don't even, like, understand what's going on. And then yeah, it was one of those moments that changes everything.
I got to give you props for how quickly you came up with that answer. I'm very happy with the Wizard of Oz comparison. That was perfect. Thank you.
Again, more Shenmue 3 canon.
Red slippers, though. That was a little disappointing.
How did it feel in Shenmue 3 to actually change your clothes for the first time?
Yeah, can you explain why you took that long to try a different outfit? The same with eating. It's like you didn't try. It's like the first thing you've ever eaten is garlic. I mean, explain who you are.
Well, so I was on an intermittent fasting diet. It's just that it took me 2 whole games to start eating again. And really, I didn't change my clothes. It's because I wasn't actually wearing clothes. The white t-shirt and pants are actually painted on. So that's actually just body paint. And I am wearing a jacket over the top of that. But, changing clothes is actually not changing clothes. It's actually putting clothes on.
So just so we're clear, every time you
first time that I ever put clothes on.
Just so I'm clear, every time you've like put that pocketbook away,
it's not going in a pocket because that's just
it's going into nature's pocket. Okay, it's
Oh my God! Don't even. Oh no! The duck from the duck races goes into the inventory.
I don't want to think about that, James. You took it to a really bad place.
I've got a question for Corey from Yanni X7. Corey, has a question here. Did you pick you without hesitation to be the voice of Rio, or were there other voice actors that were close to getting the role?
I don't know how. That's a good question because actually, we did the audition in New York back in the day, so it was, when you go to an audition like that, there are a lot of people. But interestingly enough, when I came back for the callback, usually have an initial audition, and then they give you what's called a callback, so you come back and you do it again. Sometimes you spend a little bit more time, working things out with character or direction or something like that, or maybe even different voices and stuff like that. But when I came in for the so-called callback, I didn't really see too many people there. In fact, I don't recall seeing people there. So that's a good question. Because usually when you go into an audition, there's always a ton of people there and all that kind of stuff. And literally hundreds of people apply for these things. So when I went back, I am not sure how many people that they had narrowed it down to. Because, again, they give you kind of times to come in during the day, and, like I said, sometimes you work with the director or something like that, so you kind of have these time slots. And if I remember correctly, mine was just in the middle of the day, so you could have seen anywhere between, probably on a day like that, you're seeing anywhere between 10 to 20 people, but I never saw anybody, so I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to make sure that I was the right one or whatever, but maybe I should just ask someday, because several people have asked me that, and I just wonder, how. Maybe I should just ask you, Suzuki, why did you choose me? You know what I mean? Because there has been a little bit of talk about why they chose me, but I haven't really got a definitive answer. So. And I don't know how many people they had come down to at the very end. But, typically, like I said, when you first start out, there's always hundreds of people who apply for these things. And in New York, there was lots of actors who they could have chosen. But for some reason, they chose me.
Okay, then.
They were all busy buying the game on Steam and GOG. So that's why they weren't there.
Corey, I've got another question come in. Sorry, James.
I was just going to say to Corey, when you got the script and you said it was like the biggest script that you've had so far, like even bigger than the Shenmue 2 and the Shenmue 1 scripts, did you get to keep that? Or did that go back to you, Suzuki, and the team?
You mean, the scripts? Oh, so the scripts that
the
I
actual
got for
script,
1 and 2. Yeah, when I was working in Japan. Yeah, those things were like, those things were thick. It was like Moby Dick, you know what I mean? So yeah, that'd be great if I got a chance to sneak some of that stuff away or keep some of that stuff. But yeah, that all went back, and I'm sure it's sitting somewhere at Sega headquarters. But
even the Shenmue 3 one.
The Shenmue 3 script, well, all the stuff that I got for Shenmue 3 at that point was digital.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
everything Shenmue 3, when I got into the studio, because you know we're talking 20 years ago, and Japan kind of has a thing for hard copies anyway. They gave me a hard copy script every day for me to go through and make notes and all that kind of stuff. But so when Shenmue 3 happened, to make everything like fast and streamlined, that's probably one of the reasons why everything was really quick, because we need to do the best job that we can, but of course time constraints and money and all that kind of stuff. I had a big, huge screen in front of me, and everything came in digital. And we were able to have, if I'm doing just like NPC stuff, I'm asking for directions, looking for wine, all that kind of stuff. Usually just my lines pop up. But if we're doing a scene with other characters and we're trying to figure out what's going on, we can actually just hit a couple of buttons and bring everybody else's lines up so I can see everybody's lines and get some context. So that's what made things really fast and easy that way.
Hi there.
And again, too, I mentioned earlier during the stream, we kind of did things a little bit out of order, right? So some things were made, we needed to get those things done right away so they could finish, probably lip movement and all that kind of stuff. Again, NPC stuff came later, so, things were coming in chunks and bits and pieces and stuff. So it was one of those things where it had to be, just basically emailed from Japan. This is everything that we need today. And then we would do all of our recordings. We did a quick edit there in Burbank, Los Angeles. And then we actually had some other editors down in Mexico. And then all of that information would get sent off. They would do a hard edit over there, send it back to Japan for final, sign off on everything that we had done. And then, of course, so it's kind of like stuff is flying all over the globe all the time, which was, very, very modern, but necessary at this time,
So
did they ever let you go off script, or was it all straight by the book?
That was actually something that Bill Black worked with Yu Suzuki pretty close, and sometimes we would get stuff that kind of didn't make sense as much, or maybe the language. Oh, in fact, actually, Bill Black talked about this, where he said sometimes he got the language that came in and it was a little too modern, and he would look at it and be like, "Oh, that's kind of like a modern phrase. We wouldn't say that." This is like 1987 at this point, right? So he was like, "Oh yeah, they wouldn't say that in the 80s, so we kind of had to change it, So he would actually go and change it, type it out on the script. It would come up on my screen, and he would have to highlight that in yellow to let them know that we're changing it. So they would approve that change, that script, and of course, when subtitles comes up, the subtitle needs to match what we're saying as well. So all that stuff had to be changed. So like I said, very, very simple way of doing that, highlighting that in yellow. All everybody checks off on that. And there was a lot of trust, I think, between Yu Suzuki and Bill Black, because they were in communication all the time. So when Bill decided to make those particular decisions, it was I think it was almost always approved. I think we went back and maybe changed one or two things. But yeah, we had to change the script we had to change the script from time to time. To make things flow well, to make sure that when this person says that, actually Bill Black knows Japanese. His ex-wife was Japanese, so he's pretty familiar with the language, and sometimes we would bring that up in Japanese, and he's like, "Oh, I see where they're going there." And he's like, "Oh, we're trying to say this," and he's like, "Okay, well let's do some translation here." So he was able to translate what it actually said in Japanese, so he could make it make sense in English. So that was also an advantage that we had.
So the game was translated before it hit the Burbank studio in English, but sometimes you guys had to like make adjustments here and there for the sake of it either making sense in the time frame that the game takes place in, or it being modified from a literal translation, which is what we saw a lot in Shenmue 1 and 2, to something
Right, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
something that sounds a little more naturally spoken, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly. You know, and it's interesting because there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of love for Shenmue 1 and 2. I don't know. People either love it or hate it, right? But it's kind of like what makes Shenmue sometimes that fun, quirky feeling that people love. You know, I mean, we talk about, you know, let's get sweaty and finding sailors and all that kind of stuff all the time. It's kind of like near and dear to people's heart. But with Shenmue 3, yeah, we made it a little bit more streamlined in that case.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, Corey, a question that's sort of come in on following on from that is: were you given sort of direction to sound similar to Shenmue 1 and 2 in terms of the way you did your parts?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I spoke to Yu Suzuki when he came here to Los Angeles, we talked about the character and that kind of stuff, and you know, we thought about, yeah, I mean, do we modernize it a little bit? Do we keep it the same? And Yu Suzuki always wanted to. You know, people talk about this. They say, "Oh yeah, when I play Shenmue 3, it's just like I finished 2." You know what I mean? It may have been, you know, several years gap, but I feel like I just slipped right back into the story. And Yu Suzuki, of course, really wanted that. He wanted the feeling of continuing the story, just like it the sequel should have happened. You know what I mean? So yeah, we kept the character the same. He's still that very straightforward, driven. I call him stoic character. So you know, that's what we went with, because that was Yu Suzuki's original vision anyway. And you know, I almost feel that Hazuki's on this personal journey anyway, where he's lost everything in his life. You know, he's lost his father and he's left everything behind. He's left his schooling, he's left his other friends and family and stuff like that. So he's almost, you know, the past him has died in a sense when his father died, and now he's going on this quest for revenge. But instead of that, it's really a quest of personal growth. So when I was talking to Bill Black about how we should approach how he's starting to interact with other people, I kind of felt like the moment the story begins, this wall is put up and he is, you know, driven down this alleyway where he's got this straight path, but along the way he meets all these wonderful, beautiful people who teach him about love, who teach him about life, who teach him about what it means to be human. So as he's, you know, traveling on this path, that there's just these two big walls and he wants to get to the end of the path where Landy is, he realizes that, you know, there's more to life than that. In fact, his father says it at the very end: keep those whom you love, your friends and your family, close to you. So he realizes that these friends and family is what matters in life. So these walls start to crumble down, and you see the people that you meet along the way. And so as we kind of are going on, I'm kind of letting Hazuki open up a little bit when it comes to Shenmue, right? When he starts to develop the relationship with her, whatever that relationship is, if it's like a deep sisterly relationship, or maybe a romantic relationship or something like that, those walls have to start tumbling down, right? Or if it's somebody like Ren is like this this brother, right, whom is just completely different than you. Like you're the good kid and he's the bad kid, right? It's like the yin and yang, and you love him but you hate him at the same time, because you're just like, oh man, I can't believe that, like, I have to deal with you again, and you're whatever, but I still love you because you're my brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were kind of
give it a shot.
Bill Black and I were debating a little bit, like, okay, well, how are we gonna approach how he feels about Ren? Okay, so we're kind of giving him a little bit more emotion here and there, you know what I mean? Kind of letting him experiment with just being more human, you know. And I think when people play Shenmue 3, if you happen to play Shenmue 1 and 2, you kind of realize how his relationships are growing a little bit more, especially when it comes to Shenhua and somebody like Ren, who you get a chance to see again in 3, where he really does have a couple of moments where he's just like, like, you know, you can tell that that he's just like tired of Ren's the way that he approaches everything in life, but they're still friends, you know what I mean? They still have that sort of brotherly relationship. So I kind of feel like he's on this big journey to rediscover his humanity. So those were some of the things that we had talked about as far as acting choices were concerned.
There's that line in there in the castle room at the end where you know Ren one hits that guy, knocks him completely out, and Rio says, "How are we friends?"
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's yeah. They're a great contrast, and I'm so happy that that Ren is back. You know, because you get to see. And you know, a lot of great stories are like that. You know what I mean? There are these two contrasting characters, but a lot of times they need each other. You know what I mean? Like one person gets something done the way that they approach life, and then another person gets it done because they're like, oh well, I go around that, or I'm the one who just, like, you know, will pickpocket that code that we need or whatever it is, because he's the sneaky one. He's the, you know, he's the one that is morally compromised enough to get the job done, but he's still doing things for, you know, like a character who claims to be like, oh well, I'm only in it for myself, like a Han Solo or something like that.
I was just gonna say he's Han Solo and you're Chewbacca. I was just about to say that.
Is it the beard? Is it the beard that
It's everything you were describing up to that point, and then I was just like, I'm gonna say it, and then you beat me.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Like there are a lot of stories like that where these contrasting characters really complement each other, and I think that's I'm so happy that Yu Suzuki brought that back, because that's part of Hazuki's growth as a person anyway. So.
I'll save it for...
Yeah, people like that answer. Genuine delight to hear.
Got another question actually just rolled in. So, Corey, did you record many conversations with other people in the room, or was it all done solo?
Oh, when I had recorded for Shenmue 3?
Yeah, for Shenmue 3.
Yeah, so usually when you record something as a voice actor, I mean, just most of the time you're recording by yourself. So, but what was great about Shenmue 1 and 2, when we had recorded in Japan, they had a large studio there, and we were actually able to record several actors at the same time. At the same time. So that was cool and unique. So here in Los Angeles, we didn't get the chance to do that as much, but when several scenes were really important, we wanted to make sure that, for example, scenes between me and Shenhua, we actually did have the opportunity to be in the same room at the same time. So Brianna Knickerbocker and I had done several scenes together, which is really great. That's something that a lot of voice actors don't have the opportunity to enjoy, because sometimes, well, I should say most of the time when you're doing your work, you might get voice coming back at you. So if you're doing a translation of the game for anime or whatever was in Japanese, sometimes you'll get an English voice coming back at you, so you'll get to play off of that. Most of the time you don't. You have to do your work, and you'll have to do it multiple times sometimes. Like you'll have to do the same line 2 or 3 times just so you get different intonations or different intensities or whatever the case may be. So the director will be able to plug in which ones make sense from time to time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, Brianna was really intense when she said that line, so maybe Corey needs to be a little bit taken aback by that. So we'll use that third take. But like I said, in this case, we were fortunate enough to actually be with each other and work off each other. So Shenmue is a little unique. Sometimes you'll see sort of what I'm talking about with larger productions, like if people are doing Disney or something like that. And they do have large facilities that they're able to have multiple mics set up and stuff like that, and the actors are able to play off of each other. So you'll see that in some bigger productions. But a lot of times when you're doing whatever, if you're doing a mobile game, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times you just don't have the time or the money or even the actors to have time to schedule with each other. So if you're doing, I
was going to say, I do think some of that shined through, like in Shenmue 3, obviously, like some of the best scenes in the game, I think, are between Ryo and Shenhua. So, like, to hear you say that you actually converse with, Brianna actually in the same room, it kind of shows, because those are some of the best bits of Shenmue 3 for me.
Yeah, and it's like I said, when you're able to do that, because actors love to feed off of each other. Obviously, when you're doing a film, you see the other person, you see their reactions, you see their face, you see how their body is, and you can react off of that, right? Or if you're doing a play, it's the same thing. So a lot of other actors have the blessing to be able to work off of the other actor. Because sometimes, you might be reading a script and that actor will give you something completely different that was in your head. So when that actor does it and they kind of surprise you, you have to react off of how they did it, not how you imagined it was supposed to be. And so when Brianna and I were able to be in that scene together, I was able to feel her energy and be like, oh, I can... I know how she's sort of internalizing the things that she says, or her calmness, the kind of character that she is and what she chose and the lines that she did. You know what I mean? I was able to kind of be like, oh, okay, I can see that, I feel that, and then I was able to react off of that, and if stuff like that makes a big difference sometimes.
I can tell you're in the fighting part other than watching it, just because I hear the controller. So, I know. I love the music in these fight sequences, by the way.
Yeah.
The music in Shenmue 3, I think, is incredibly good. A lot of it's kind of a lot of leftover bits from the originals, but also new stuff they composed, and I think it's amazing that they got all this done. Fantastic.
Good Shenmue actually watching.
Yeah, we have a couple of just random comments, just so people are aware. We are doing a bunch of giveaways, or more accurately, Deep Silver and Koch Media provided a bunch of stuff for giveaways. You can enter with tickets. It looks like in Twitch chat, you just do !raffle to enter the possibility of winning. There's a whole bunch of stuff we've gone over. And we had a couple of questions. First, Corey, there's a request for you to say those moves, just like you did like a million times in this game.
Those moves?
Yeah.
Those moves.
Yeah, there it is. And here's a good question. Corey and I have this old joke that I'm like his work wife, because I've heard all his stories like 1,000 times. But this one, I don't think I've ever actually heard. How did YSNet contact you about getting involved with Shenmue 3?
Yeah, so I had found out at the same time everybody else did, and I was hoping that they wanted me back, because now, and if anybody remembers, they had done a bit of a demo, a bit of a mock-up, you know what I mean? And they had Hazuki and Shenhua, and there's a scene where they're jumping over some rocks and stuff like that to actually get to the other side of the water. That guy wasn't me. They found somebody who sounded like me or was doing an impression of me. And so when I first saw that, I was like, oh crap, like
They've replaced you.
Are they gonna do this in Japan? Are they not going to ask me to come back? And I was just like, oh man, I never thought about that. And I was like, dude, I'll go back to Japan. Like, I don't care. Like, if I have to spend my time, if I have to spend a couple months in Japan, I hope they know that, you know. And so when this first was announced, they had somebody who sounded like me. So I have to admit, I was a little nervous that for some reason they wouldn't ask me back. But yeah, I did get contacted over social media. I think it was over Facebook, and they had asked for my contact information, and then yeah, like the following week, I had received a phone call, and they said, yeah, well, as you know, Shenmue 3 is back, and we would like to know if you'd like to come back, and you know, I thought about it for a really long time, and I kind of mulled it over, and I thought, oh, do I really want to do it? I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll do it.
Side note, thank you for buying all those garlic cloves. It makes me feel better.
Well, I thought, you know, we've been talking about garlic for so long, I can't.
Well, I mean, it made you hungry. I mean,
I want pizza now.
Next time I see you, Corey, I'm just going to take you to a grocery store and just put you in front of a bunch of garlic and see what happens.
Right, I'm going to quickly draw the Lightbox competition. Give me 2 seconds.
Sure. Anyway, Corey, keep going. Because I kind of remember around that time there was a bunch of fan petition, because a lot of people felt the same way. Like, where is Corey in this trailer? And I kind of remember there being like tons of tweets and being like, you know, you want us to support the Kickstarter, then we need Corey. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, I do, and I was really, I don't know, I say this a lot, but I'm often sort of like humbled by that kind of response. You know what I mean? Like, so many people were just adamant that if Shenmue 3 was to happen, I needed to come back, and so it's just like the fan reaction was just incredible, and yeah, so many people just wanted it to happen. And I was just so happy and flattered and humbled that this sort of demand was happening. That yeah, there were so many people that were making their voices heard in so many different ways that they needed me to come back. So that was I don't know. I guess it was. You know, when you're me and you're just a actor. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. I was just surprised, and I thought like, wow, it's great that so many people really wanted me to come back. So I don't know. I'm a little bit lost for words for that, but yeah, I'm just so happy that the fan reaction was so strong, and I'm not gonna say that
I need help with something.
that they were like they noticed all this and were like, oh no, maybe we got to get Corey Marshall back. There was a lot of reaction. There was a lot of well, in all these different venues that people were making their voices heard. So that, I don't know, it's great. I just want to say thanks to everybody who just demanded those things happen.
Can you think about this for a second and find a way as Rio to thank everybody?
Well,
like, take a second and digest. That's exactly my point. Take a second and digest it and see what you come up with.
And that gives me an opportunity to say another competition's about to run for a couple of Shenmue 3 t-shirts. I can't guarantee the sizes, but Deep Silver and Cop Media have been kind enough to donate some t-shirts to us, so keep an eye out for that in the next couple of seconds.
Yeah, with the t-shirts.
Yeah,
I think those are the
Slackerbacker.
Are they the Slackerbacker shirts?
I think they're these ones that I'm wearing. I think.
I would say that the Deep Silver limited edition t-shirt, I would say.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the one I'm modelling very badly.
Well, I should enter. I wanted one of those. No, that would not be fair.
If you gave us your size as well, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't just give you like a small.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see what we can do.
So I think to answer your question there, Adam, I think Hazuki he's not very wordy. So I think he would literally go like this. I think he'd just do this. He'd just be like,
So what?
"Oh,
You're not here to play?
I'm looking for someone who's seen those thugs."
I'm like, that's it.
It's probably accurate, yeah.
Put like a I think after it as well. Like when you go fishing, be like, thanks, I think.
That's true. Like lack of certainty in your verbiage.
One thing I wanted to add as well is that like it wouldn't be Shenmue without Corey, to be honest. Like you're a staple of the series, and not only that, but you were here with us the whole time when we were yelling and screaming for years and years that we wanted this game to happen. So it only seems fitting to have you as the lead role in it.
Yeah, I mean,
no one else.
And I just, as cool as it is that you're in there, I got to give props to YSNet for also getting Masaya Matsukaze back.
Yeah.
Like getting both Rios is definitely awesome.
Yeah.
And both of you guys are great guys. I mean, Corey, you're obviously a friend, but Messiah, like I've met him a few times, and he's a really cool dude too. So, yeah.
Nice. So,
I think they cast based on personality. Let's put it that way.
I think on the Japanese side as well, they did recast a couple other characters. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nozomi and Londi's actor came back as well.
I know that Shenhua's voice actress came back, but beyond that, I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
I remember talking to some of the English crew and the voice actors as well. I mean, when you talk to Liesel or Eric or Paul, for some reason Shenmue has a special place in our hearts. You know what I mean? As an actor, a lot of times you do a job and you move on and you're trying to get more work, and sometimes you do a cool project and you're happy or you're proud about it or whatever, but for some reason, Shenmue really does hold a special place for even the voice actors. You know what I mean? When you talk to somebody like Eric or Liesel or something like that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I would love to come back because it means something to me."
I obviously didn't voice the game, but you're totally right. And having spoken to a bunch of people, including Bill, I can't drop any names on this, but Bill was like, "There are so many uncredited big names in this game who did like one voice here or there just because they saw that the game was coming and they're like, I need to be in it." And Bill's like, there's a bajillion characters, but all you would say is like, he's down the street. Like here's one thing and it's voiced by like someone super famous, but they're totally uncredited. So
and they can never be revealed.
They can never say who it was. I know some of the names, but I'm not going to say them because I was told not to. But if you ever want to try and play investigator and find out, what you can do is buy the game on GOG and Steam right now and check it out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the story of Daniel Craig just being in a stormtrooper
in Force
outfit.
Awakens. Yes, if you don't know that story, just like Force Awakens, like what he's talking about, when Rey is like held captive and there's a stormtrooper who's just kind of standing over her, the body of that is Daniel Craig. They couldn't afford his face, they couldn't afford his voice, but it's him in a suit, uncredited. There is a lot of that in Shenmue 3.
He wanted to be in it. He was just like, "Oh, I want to be in it." And they're like, "No, okay, we'll just have you stand here." And he's like, "Yes, let me do it." Same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of it. And again, if you buy it on Steam and GOG, you'll probably find all of them. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
There's another deep rabbit hole that we can go into. So there's the whole mythology part of Shenmue, and then you have to spot the voice actor.
Yes, that's an entirely different game. So that same game is available on GOG and Steam.
What was that, Adam? GOG and Steam, you said?
What I said was that you can get this game right now on GOG and Steam. That's what I said.
Excellent.
So how do you spell that?
GOG. And yeah, it's pronounced either GOG or GOG, but I know it's on both of them. That and Steam. I don't know if I made it clear. You can get this on Steam and GOG. Okay, just so everybody's clear on that. There's also PS4. Actually, I'm genuinely curious. How many of you got the new limited run games collector's edition? See, personally, I'm super excited about that because I like the idea that there's going to be a PS4 version that has all the DLC, all the patches, everything on the actual disc. So I think that that's going to be really neat. So I'm curious who else in the chat got that. And if you didn't, there are some still available, but that one's pretty much wrapping up.
Yeah. There's some really cool items in that box as well, like the actual Sword of the Seven Stars. Or
And Chobu-chan figures and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. I think, obviously, it's been made by a Shenmue fan for the certain items that have been included. Really cool.
Yeah, I'm also betting it's going to be one of the more valuable PS4 games because it's the only way you're going to have a PS4 copy with all that stuff on the disc. Like, they're not doing a standard vanilla edition of it, so that'll be it. That'll probably be pretty valuable at some point. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, the physical version also has a different title because they call it Shenmue 3 Complete Edition.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a whole different SKU, so it's going to probably wind up being rare.
Just a quick note: competition winners for the T-shirts, Lone Wolf and Love Italy or whatever. I can't remember. It's late in the night here. Can you drop us a DM or on here or on Twitter to claim your prize?
Congratulations.
On Twitter, if you can send Shenmue Dojo a message over on Twitter, I'll respond to you right now.
Congratulations to the winners.
Don't worry, there's one more to go yet.
What else are you giving away?
I've got some plaster packs to give away.
Oh, the Band-Aid things? I got to translate it for Americans.
Yeah, the Band-Aid things.
There you go. I've been to the UK. Do you realize how long it took me to figure that one out? Like, that is not one of the colloquialisms that they ever teach you in, like, American to British English conversion. It's, I figured out what a stone was. That took a while, but man, like, can you say, what is it called again?
Plaster.
You don't have the word stone in America?
No. We'll get back to that. Stone, not for as a unit of measurement. Obviously, we know what a rock is. But, I mean, what was the thing you call a Band-Aid?
Plaster.
Yeah, that's, like, non-existent here. Fellow Americans, please vouch for me. James, Corey, you exist, both of you.
Oh, yeah. What was the word again?
The English for Band-Aid is plaster.
Yep.
Plaster.
Plaster?
Yeah.
They're also called Band-Aids or adhesive strips here. I've never heard that other word for them.
Yeah, exactly. Plaster, never. And I actually remember one time being in the UK and I actually needed Band-Aids and I was walking around asking, like, I couldn't find anything called Band-Aid. And
Do you know where I can find a Band-Aid?
Do you know where I can find Band-Aid? And, like, every single person was like, what are you talking about? I was just like, that's not a good idea.
Plaster is something that you put onto the wall. Plaster is like
exactly.
Put on a wall.
Yeah.
And eventually one guy knew what I was talking about. He's like, he said, like, oh, we don't call them that here. And he showed, he's like, oh, the plasters. I'm like, what the? I've never in my life heard that one. So for my fellow North Americans, Canadians, we're giving away those, or more accurately, Deep Silver and Koch Media are giving away those bandages or Band-Aids with Rio's face on them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you put a hole in your wall, you take some plaster and you cover up that hole, and that's what we have here. See, Band-Aid is actually a brand name. It's kind of like calling your refrigerator a Frigidaire or something like that. So, but we always say Band-Aid, even though it's a brand name.
Mm-hmm. And technically, James was right. It's called an adhesive strip, but that's not fun. That's like. Yeah. I don't know. That has no like zing to it.
We like the easier way. We're just like, it's a Band-Aid. I had to take time to get used to the difference between cookie and biscuit, and also a torch and a flashlight. Really? Like when we were talking with Sega Europe, one of our friends kept mentioning a torch, and I'm sitting here like, are you lighting your wall on fire? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, we were.
What were they? A flashlight.
I remember that. We were doing that other Shenmue stream, and they kept talking about getting out a torch, and I thought they were joking. Like, I didn't realize they were talking about a flashlight. I thought they were like, yeah, Ryo goes down, he gets the Phoenix mirror by lighting the entire place on fire. I was like, ha ha, ha. No, we're being serious. Like, what? Some of the idioms, man, they don't. That's why we have both sides of the pond here to represent the English language.
Yeah,
it's interesting that we, as English people, know both words, but you only know the American word.
Yeah, because we've decided to you guys have like the buggy incomplete version of the language, and we have the firmware updated version. That's basically what that's all about.
No, it's just because we're lazy. We just
that's more accurate.
It's not a biscuit. It's a cookie. Like,
actually, well, the American version of a biscuit is like a fluffy thing you would have for breakfast, but you don't really talk much about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like biscuits and gravy. That is totally a different concept than the British version of a biscuit.
But let's be real though, if the US is the firmware update, there's no doubt we're still in beta. Like, our English is especially mine. I can't talk English even though it's my native language.
You mean speak English?
Yes. See, there you go. There's a great example.
For our British friends listening, we are totally kidding. Like, I just want to make it very clear.
Adam is like the master of sarcasm.
Yeah. That's an issue between James and I. Is like, I'll make like a joke like that, and he'll be like, "Oh no, I think I upset him," and I'm like, "That's sarcasm. I'm just on a different level."
Yeah, like, you have such a straight face when you do it. I'm just like, "I'm sorry. Are we okay?"
Years of practice. Years of practice.
Yeah,
I actually learned it from Ryo with his constant stoic face, and I was just like, "Yep, that's how you deliver information."
Actually, that's a good point. Since we've all been playing these games for so long, especially Corey, but question to everyone, is there a time where you catch yourself quoting Shenmue instead of saying something? Like if you see a sign...
Oh, you got robbed.
Oh, come on!
Sorry. You got robbed. That's all I'm saying.
Like, is there ever a time where you quote Shenmue when it's not necessarily meant to be a quote? Like, you just say it naturally, even though it's a line from Shenmue?
I say I see constantly with the cadence of Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never stop doing it.
Yeah, I think that's something that does become habit. I do the same thing as well.
Oh,
yes!
Nice.
Yes! They owed me that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I will say there was one time I went to go to play bumper cars at a carnival, and I hit somebody, and the first thing I said was, "Whoa!" Like how when you run into somebody with the forklift. It's almost like
flying around the corner when you're flying around the corner with a heavy crate on a forklift, and you just like slam into somebody, and you're like, "Whoa." Did they disappear though? Did they just completely disintegrate? Did they disappear into thin air?
Is it
nice.
What happened sometimes number one?
Did the ball just get stuck?
It got stuck. Yeah, it got stuck. That's real, man. That can happen.
Wow, I've never had that happen.
Never happened to me.
Yeah, I kind of, was it you, James? Somebody was telling me like they based the physics on this on like a lot of actual boards. Somebody told me that, and therefore it's like incredibly possible to get it stuck because that actually happens on these things.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Especially when they're handmade, they're not mathematically perfect, of course.
Right. And knowing Yu Suzuki, he was just like, let's go for perfection. But yeah, awesome. Okay.
I've seen it. I've seen the ball get stuck in Shenmue 2 as well.
Yeah.
And it just restarts the game.
That's something that Yu Suzuki, I don't think gets enough credit for, is there's a lot of minutia in his games to adhere to extreme reality, and that would be one of them. Like, most devs would not take the time to have a board that can screw up on purpose, if you get my point. But he does that so that you have that extra sense of reality, because that can happen in real life. Whereas I think most of them would just be like, no, it's just a digital board game. Just have it go somewhere. It doesn't matter. But no, he's like, no, details, they matter.
Yeah, I think when D3T was working on the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release, they were actually talking about that when they were looking at the code. things like the moon being extremely accurate and like all these little small details that like as a person just playing through the game, you would never know like how detailed it really is. I mean, from the macroscopic view, obviously they have like the magic weather system in Shenmue 1, but like yeah, there's some really interesting coding stuff going on that Yu Suzuki and his team pulled off in those games.
That thing about the moon, if Switch, who's actually in the chat at the moment, he actually made a blog post where he actually uses his like a mod to be able to get into the sky and runs into the moon, and he runs all around the whole of the moon, and it's actually like a massive 3D object, and you can see the different phases of what they've programmed. So like as you know, obviously you're never going to look into the sky really as you're playing the game that sort of detail, but if you look up at certain times throughout Shenmue 2, there's a different moon phase, which is just mental that they went that much trouble.
So I'm going to say that Yu Suzuki clued us in on that at one point. Before Shenmue 3 actually came out, which, by the way, you can get on GOG and Steam. Before it actually came out, does anybody remember, and I know Corey does, there was a time where people asked him, what was going to be in Shenmue 3, and he did this whole long video about a crazy Shenmue 3 that would involve Ryo going to the moon.
Oh, that was the Mega 64 video.
Yes, but they actually got, Yu Suzuki to do it. So that's all I'm saying is maybe they made the moon because that's actually the plan. Just saying.
Shout out to Rocco.
Is Corey having connection problems?
Yeah, Corey's back. Hang on. Let me sort this out.
All the names except mine are now wrong, I guess.
Corey?
I wanted to mention.
Oh, no, I'm back.
While we're on the topic, is just I wanted to say that like D3T had to translate all that code to make the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release, and the fact that they were able to pull that off is insane. So kudos to them for being able to do that, especially with like I don't know what the size of their team was, but I'm assuming it's probably not the same size as the team that made Shenmue 1 and 2. So it just goes to show like those re-releases took a lot of work to make happen.
They did, and it's a lot of effort that went into that. If you can consider they had to, like you say, translate everything in from the Japanese source code, Japanese notes. There's a lot of work went into that, and they're perfectly serviceable. I think I like them for what they are, and actually on PC they're excellent.
And you can get those as well if you want to. You're new to Shenmue series, you can get Shenmue 1 and 2 on Steam, GOG, bloody everywhere, I think. And and then Shenmue 3 after you finished.
Yeah, which is
Steam.
available on GOG and Steam. Yeah, of course, GOG and Steam.
GOG
what
Steam,
was that again?
everyone.
Was it GOG and Steam? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
GOG and
Steam.
I think so.
Wow, you can get Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam. That's insane.
Wait, is that one word? Or is
No,
that,
it's actually two words. There's GOG, that's one word, and then there's Steam, which is another word, and both of them will allow you to buy the game. Yes, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, just want to make sure it's clear that you can get the game on GOG and on Steam.
We need to change the voice lines for Dae-Jin in Shenmue 3 and just replace it with Adam. Just telling you to buy the game when he's like sitting at the table when you first meet him.
So Sega themselves has commented and said, we've heard Shenmue 3 is available on GOG and Steam, and it turns out that's not a rumor. It's true. Hashtag we've confirmed Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam. GOG and Steam, it's available.
And shout out to Sega as well for being so cooperative and all that. Like the fact that they're in this chat chilling with us is so cool.
Yeah,
I agree.
And they're hosting us and doing.
We have to pat Sega on the back here because, like honestly, most developers in this type of situation would never have allowed like this game to exist. You look at, there's a lot of other devs where they were like, hey, we're not going to allow the sequel. So the dev had to go on and make like a spiritual successor. Sega was like, we're not having any of that. Go ahead, Yu Suzuki. You make Shenmue 3, and then Deep Silver got on board, and that's how you have this. Which again is available on GOG and Steam. GOG and Steam.
GOG and Steam, everyone. Don't you forget. Oh shit.
Don't forget, GOG and Steam. Do you see that look on Rio's face? I love that look.
That's perfect timing.
Corey, can you like make a sound effect for what that look is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
He's doing QTE. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and he's like struggling. It looks like he's having a bad night in the toilet. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me see, because it hasn't popped up for me yet. So I'm gonna wait. So we're waiting for a fail. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it's a fail.
Yeah.
It's like a strain.
There you go.
Oh, that one right there. That one's kind of like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patty says it best. Too much garlic.
Oh. Right, I'm going to run the
Not
plaster pack competition now to everyone, so just be ready.
Yeah, Corey, can we get Rio straining and saying too much garlic?
Oh god.
There's going to be 5 plaster packs to give away, everyone. 5.
It needs to be subtle. So it's just like a too much garlic.
There you go, everybody.
Fantastic.
It's a subtle one for you.
We're going to be running for about another 15 minutes or so, everyone, just so you know. So we're going to crack through these mini games while we're here.
And right now, you can enter to win the last prize. Again, exclamation point raffle in the chat. You win the Band-Aids or the plaster.
I'm
still genuinely.
Yeah, that works.
I'm not.
Depending on where you live.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be difficult about that. It's a word that is not part of our lexicon in that context. So, and I know I'm not alone. I've seen people in the chat be like, "Long life New Yorker" here. Never heard that word before in my life. Yeah, so I'm not alone. We're not crazy. I'm just trying to, appeal to everybody here.
Yes.
Well, at least it's not a trolley or a cart.
Yes. Oh, what's that?
It's a trolley over here.
What's the word for truck again?
Lorry.
A lorry. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are obviously both British, so I need you to back me up on something here. So one time I was in England a couple years ago. I was at Blackpool, and I was hanging with Tom from the Dreamcast Junkyard, which I'm sure you guys might know. And
Tom
yeah, exactly. So we're hanging out, and then he's like, he basically had to. Exactly. He had to go express that he had to use the bathroom. I was kind of thinking he would maybe say like the Louvre or something, but he goes, "I need to use the ablution." I'm like, "The what?" And
what?
And he was just like, "The ablution." And I'm like, "What are you saying?" And he's like, "The ablution." And I'm like, I was like, "You're just messing with me because I don't know that word because you just made it up." And he's like, "No." He just pulls someone aside. He's like, he's like, "Mate, where's the ablution?" And the guy's like, "Down there." And I'm like, "What the hell? I've never heard this word in my life."
Honestly,
now, is that a real thing, or did he like do some conspiracy thing? What's happening?
He hired
that
that
must
guy
be
at one moment.
Yeah, that must be a Manchester thing because I've never heard that before.
Okay, because
the dude and asked him. The guy was like, I don't know over there."
No, he totally was like
doing that.
He even asked someone else. He's like, "What?" He like asked somebody to explain. He's like, "Ablution." He's like, "Yeah, it's a bathroom. Ablution's down there." Like, I was like, "What?" My accent's bad. I'm sorry, but like, I couldn't. It was blowing my mind, and to this day, he maintains it's a thing. There has to be somebody who knows what this is.
I don't know. Not me.
Nah,
English.
not me either.
Yep.
Oh,
I'd say loo, bog, toilet. That's it, I suppose. Yeah. I know
Sonic.
there's another word, and there's like water closet or something. Some people
Water
saying.
closet.
I've heard that one. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I've heard that one. That's why it's WC sometimes. You might see
Okay, yeah,
WC
makes
on the door.
sense.
Yeah.
Sonic fan Chris has a great request for Corey. Can, as Rio, ask how to find an ablution?
An ablution?
Yeah, that's the word we're talking about, which is a bathroom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Excuse me. Where's the ablution?
There you go.
Excuse me. What is an ablution?
It's just like written in the notebook. What is an evolution?
Rio. All right.
Ablution.
Maybe Tom will know.
All right. Shenmue 4, Rio in the UK, just trying to figure out where stuff is and what stuff is.
Oh man, that would be so great. Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Like, if Shenmue's story was just wide open and anything you can imagine, what country would you want to see Rio go into?
Oh, that's a good question. I like that.
Be the person that he is,
I'd like him to go to Canada to catch
Visit
up with
Nozomi.
Nozomi. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll give it a try.
Go to the Niagara Falls, and that'd be a nice moment.
Niagara Falls is nowhere near where she lives. She lives in Vancouver.
So
That's like
the wrong
New
end.
York to
the upper left, like the left side, but in the middle, somewhere around there.
Say what?
Vancouver's where on the, so if
Vancouver
you're looking
is
at
West Coast. Basically, it's right next to Seattle.
So it's like the California.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the same time zone as California.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's nowhere. So yeah, you'd have to come up with like Vancouver specific things. Like I guess they go to a Canucks game or something like that. The Vancouver, what is it? The Sharks, I think. I don't remember all their sports teams. But we got. Where else do we want to send?
That's a good one in the chat. America to visit Tom.
The U.S. is so obvious. Let's do something more creative. Like he goes to like Guatemala. I don't know. Like
Korea.
What is it? Well, North Korea. North Korea. Yes. Actually, Guam would work. Both Corey and I have been to Guam, so he could actually talk about that knowledgeably. Yeah.
And then there'd be even more hot ladies to hang out with that he's not interested in.
Yeah, because he'd be like, wait, all right, can we do a situation where the hot ladies have come up to him and he's like intimidated and needs to go find garlic to prevent that? Anything?
Okay, sure.
So he's walking down Tamuning or like that. Okay, that's something only Corey and I are gonna know. But like the big city area of Guam, and he sees like all these beautiful. There's a lot of Japanese women there. Sees all of them, and then they come up to him. Now Corey, go.
I think I need more garlic.
Oh, that was good only for Corey and me.
So if he did end up in the UK, I guess he could also find out what an aluminium is.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
What, like the metal?
Wrong.
If you pronounce it aluminium.
Mm-hmm.
Aluminium, yeah, metal. Like Coke cans are made of aluminium.
Yeah, we know the word. We just pronounce it differently. Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Okay.
In fact, I would argue that we actually pronounce it more correct here in the States than you guys do, because it's if you listen to how you're saying it and how it's spelled, I think you guys are wrong. I'm sorry.
I'll pass.
Like I said, the US has English DLC, like the firmware update and everything. I'm telling you.
Right, I'm going to draw these plaster packs out, and I'm going to be really naughty, and I'm going to see if I can get
plaster packs. They are band-aids, sir.
Band-aids, plaster packs, whatever you want to call them.
I'm going to start calling them that now. It just sounds so metal. Like, yo, go get the plaster pack.
Cloak base is a plaster pack, or band-aid pack, whatever we want to call it.
Okay.
Adhesive bandage pack.
Adhesive.
Yeah.
That sounds like something.
Is 1-1. Paddy, JF is 1-1. He's going to love that.
Paddy, nice one, man.
Mac 10K is 1-1. And the final one is Tylon 3. Now, I'm going to be a little bit naughty because Deep Silver and Clark said they'd have several t-shirts available. So how about we give away one more? What do we reckon?
Do it.
And if I get in trouble, then meh. Right, I'm going to say...
If you get in trouble, then you won't get your shirt.
This one is garlic scented.
Yeah.
Speaking of like funny things, while we're on the topic of like hilarious stuff, I think one of my favorite moments in Shenmue 3, also calling back to the conversations with Shenhua topic that we were talking about before, playing Face Off with Shenhua is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Ever. Oh my!
That is the weirdest game, man.
It's so hilarious. I was like, this is everything I ever wanted. So, Corey, is there any behind the scenes things at all related to Face Off? Any stories or anything like?
Oh, that no, not. I hate to bust your bubble, but no. You know, the thing is, we did talk about that a lot. We kind of had the same thoughts, like, oh my god, this thing is hilarious. At the same time, you know what I mean? So yeah, we were kind of discovering it as it came in, and we were very perplexed by it at first, but then just like discovering the awesome hilariousness of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, I wonder if there is some truth to that being a thing in Guilin. I'll probably have to ask like the Kitchen Brothers or somebody who spent a lot of time there to see if there is a version of rock, paper, scissors. Because I'm assuming that, they're very similar games. So maybe there is a version of that in Guilin that is similar to a game of Face Off. I wonder if there's some truth to that. That'd be really cool to find out.
You know, it's funny because when we were doing it, we were thinking, wait, we can't do rock paper scissors. Like, is that like, does somebody trademark that? We were like, what's going on? That was part of our thing. We were like, wait, so we should do. In fact, I think we recorded rock paper scissors, and then we recorded the face game. Yeah, we did. I think those are probably sitting somewhere where we recorded it. I think we recorded it just in case, and then we did the face game on top of it because we were like, what? This is just bizarre. And so we did several recordings and several takes of that one because we were just slightly confused. And yeah, I think that was one of our questions. We were like, did somebody like do something crazy? You know how somebody wants to, it's like trademarking Happy Birthday or something like that. So they were like, okay, did they trademark rock paper scissors and we can't use it now? Like, what happened? You know what I mean?
For those who are watching the stream and don't know what we're talking about, because it is something that's missable in the game. In Shenmue 3, if you spend enough time in Bailu Village and you talk to Shenhua at nighttime enough, eventually she'll be like, Rio, I want to play this game that's taking a craze. And I don't know if she says Guilin or Bailu Village specifically. I don't remember.
Taking like the village by storm or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And you get to play this game with her where it's a version of rock, paper, scissors, but it's all done with face movements, hence the name.
Shanson in the chat's just said we should do a real life one. So I mean, I'm up for it if you want to.
I can make a goofy face. I to this day don't understand how to win. Like
not stuff, but there might be a video coming in the near future of myself and another Shenmue YouTuber doing Face Off in real life. But stay tuned for that.
Yeah, but if you want to play it in the game, again, it's available on GOG and Steam. I don't know if you heard that.
Do you want to do one round of impromptu face-off, James?
Do it.
All right. So give me a.
Dude, I can't because I honestly never figured it out. I thought they were just being weirdos.
I think if you think about what they're doing, so scissors, I think is teeth, or is that rock? Hang on.
See, exactly the problem.
Paper is like an oval. Rock is like it's like a I can't actually do it.
Someone in the chat might.
And then teeth is like, scissors is like, like a little smaller, like almost pouty. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest.
Sega, that is correct. It's GOG and Steam.
GOG and Steam, everyone.
Sega might be buying a copy on GOG and Steam, according to them. I'm just saying.
Why not?
You can play Face Off. It's so cool that this game called Face Off has a whole Shenmue 3 expansion to it.
Well, are you gonna play? Because I think it's just two people.
Let's do it.
I'm not doing it because I do not understand core rules.
There's got to be one round of this. Come on, the chat are asking.
Right,
you've got to
I'm
do
happy
it.
to make an expression. Go ahead.
Okay, so Adam and I are gonna go at it, and then the winner between Adam and I will face off between the winner of the next game. Okay,
You'll have to judge because I don't really know what face beats what, but we'll just do it.
Chat can judge. Let the chat judge.
All right, sure.
Let's do Corey and Adam, and me and James, and then the winner of both of them, the final round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right, Adam.
Okay, so
count us down. Me and Adam. Here we go.
Okay.
Here you go. Switch in the chat says paper, open mouth, rock, shut mouth, scissors, kiss face.
Just one more.
Scissors is kiss face.
Yeah.
I'll come back later.
Rock is open mouth. And paper.
Paper. If you want to follow what Switch says, he says paper, open mouth, rock, shut mouth, and scissors, kiss face.
Really?
Okay. Brett is very good at those types of things.
All right, let's do it. Ready?
Okay.
Somebody count us down.
Okay, I'll count you down.
Okay.
3,
go on, Matt.
2, 1, go.
I think you beat me, Adam. That's
Adam wins.
Scissors.
Sorry, what? Are we going to start? I was just trying to kiss him. What's happening?
With my open mouth?
Yeah, I wasn't. My eyes were closed. I didn't know. I was just going in. I apparently was rejected.
You beat me, Adam. You beat me.
Yeah.
Okay, next round.
Is it best of 3?
Is it best
where we go again? I
assumed it was knockout.
Okay.
Yeah, knockout.
So it's me and James now.
Adam's the winner.
So James and James, when you're ready.
Okay.
3.
You gonna count us down?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
I think mine's rock.
I think I was scissors because I did the open.
So
the
rock, smash,
kiss thing.
scissors.
I beat you.
Yeah. So.
Hey man, let me double check. I did the kiss face, which is scissors, and paper is open mouth.
Oh no!
Oh, I did paper. Oh, I did the wrong one. I meant to do rock, but no, yeah, I did paper.
There we go.
Fail.
So yeah, I got beaten.
Oh. What's going on here?
So wait, am I up against Jim now?
Okay, let's do it.
That's right, Adam.
Okay.
Okay, ready? One more, and we'll do it. I'll do the countdown this time. All right, guys, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So what's that?
So that was,
Jim looks really surprised, and Adam's just like,
did I win or lose? I don't even know.
You won because you were rock. Yeah, you won.
Holy shit,
no,
I
wait.
won.
No, wait, hang on. Paper beats rock, doesn't it?
Paper beats
so
rock,
he won?
Yeah.
I won.
right.
Okay, Jim won.
Yeah.
And Jim, what you won was the ability to buy the game on GOG and Steam.
Oi.
Right, so where do I go for that? I'll do it right now.
Just so everybody knows, the last t-shirt giveaway is now running. I don't know why it didn't before, but get your entries in. ! Raffle. Last sort of 10 minutes before we jump off. And I'll do the draw before we finish.
I'll come back later.
What mini game should I
Shenmue
play to finish?
Can you go to Niawu?
I'm in Niawu, but I may have been a bit naughty in terms of how I got there.
maybe QTE title, because that's pretty much a
Oh,
state.
you fast forward, didn't you?
Maybe
You went to a different save, didn't you?
I was a bit naughty.
He cheated.
So you are.
Fun fact, QTE title and Highway Star are actually real cabinets.
They are indeed.
I don't know where there's a QTE title, but there is a Highway Star in San Francisco. I know exactly where it is, and I tend to film there eventually once everything opens up.
Why don't you go
we should
find George Kitchen's like body model and just hang out with him and talk to him and annoy him?
Just stalk him for a little while.
Yeah. All he ever talks about is how he wants to like meet women. It's he asks you for advice, and you're just like, eat garlic, or like
eat more garlic. But wait, that's all I do. More garlic.
More garlic. I mean, it seems to work for you. They all come at you, and you're like, no, I'm good.
I'm really trying here. I've tried all kinds of different things.
Have another go
Yeah,
at this.
QTE. That's the way we should go.
Wow,
For
the
the
way
last
I'm playing it at the moment probably isn't, but we'll have another go.
I've got to be more precise.
Is this game worth buying? It's absolutely worth buying, and you can get it now on GOG and Steam. Someone actually asked.
Well,
that wasn't me just saying it.
So, when people ask that question, it's something I want to emphasize to people. It's like, I mentioned this before a little bit, like, Shenmue is one of those games that when you play it, you're going to get this sense of, you know how, and I mentioned this a little bit before, right? So, like, if you get a smell of something, like maybe you smell somebody's perfume that maybe somebody wore 20 years ago or something, and you get those instant memories. Shenmue's like that, right? So when you step into the game and you see the sights and you hear those sounds, particularly the music and stuff like that, you get this sense of nostalgia. And when you play the game for the first time, you're going to start to be immersed into this world, and you can't help but have those feelings, because it's like when you see a really good movie or read a really good book, you leave your reality for a while and you step into this other space. You kind of live another life for a while, and that's what Shenmue is to me. So is it worth buying and worth playing? I think so, absolutely, because it really does let you slip into another reality. It's not like one of those games where, you're running around and you're blowing things up and you're really super entertained, which is great. There are a lot of really awesome games out there like that. But this game has a real sense of reality, and you care about the characters, you care about the journey that he's on, and all the things around you. You love to see and feel and experience everything that's in the game, and that's why I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the guy who asked that was asking because he just finished Shenmue 2. So yeah, absolutely. Pick this up. It's unapologetically more Shenmue, and I loved it for everything that it is. And the fact that it even exists is an absolute miracle, as we talked about earlier. Like all of the fan interest that generated, Yu Suzuki still wanting to do it, Sega's involvement, Deep Silver's involvement, Sony's involvement, Epic's involvement. Like it was an amalgamation of all these forces. It should never have existed, but it does, and that alone is to be celebrated. And you can help get the next game made with a simple vote of your wallet, whether it's to buy it for like PS4 or GOG and Steam as it available now. But you can do that and support it and experience more of it, because I've always said that about Shenmue. It isn't just a game. Once you get into it and you really understand what motivated everybody and captures our imaginations, it's an experience, not just a game.
It's an experience, yeah.
And they did such a great job recreating that Shenmue experience as well. Like,
I agree.
They really tried.
And
it's essentially seamless. It's unapologetically more Shenmue.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it follows straight on from Shenmue 2. For anybody who's just finished Shenmue 2, literally you can jump from one game to the other and it feels exactly the same. And we have to remember they created this from the ground up. They built the whole thing from the ground up. No source code from the originals, nothing. They rebuilt the whole game for everybody. And a lot of work went into this. And it's a fantastic job for what they had.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're right, Adam. Like, you know, if you guys want to see Shenmue 4 and beyond, possibly, you know, if you want to see the continuation of the story and the ending of the story, we get there through Shenmue 3. So that alone is worth buying the game, checking it out, experiencing it, getting that full immersion in that whole story again. Because there are there's just a lot of really great characters and moments in this one. A lot of time that you get to spend with some of the village people, and of course with Shenhua and everybody else. So that it really builds on that foundation. And again, if you guys want to see more of the story, if you want to see 4 or even beyond, we get there through 3.
I agree completely.
Be kind of curious to see like what people thought that have just finished Shenmue 2 for the first time and then moving straight into Shenmue 3, because obviously we waited 15 to 20 years for that that moment.
That's kind of what I was going to say. Tamoxi1 is the guy who says he just finished Shenmue 2, and he says, I streamed the whole of Shenmue 2 for like 2 months, and now I don't really know what to do with myself. And I'm like, dude, you didn't have to wait in a cave for 20 years like the rest of us. Shenmue 3 is available to you right now, again on GOG and Steam, and that you can get at any time to go ahead and continue Ryo's journey. I mean, again, it's on PS4 as well, and you know,
do it. Buy it now. Buy it now if you want to Shenmue 4. Straight up.
Buy it now. Yeah, exactly. That's the easiest way to put it. Buying Shenmue 3, even if you bought it before, just voting with your wallet, buying it is the easiest way to generate a Shenmue 4. That's just how it is.
And you know what's interesting too? I've talked to a lot of people who say that they like to just live in the world of Shenmue 3 for a while. There's a lot of people who said, I'm not in a hurry to finish it, because they say, I like just going there and living in that space for a while. You know what I mean? I'm going over here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm getting the fishing trophies and stuff like that. Some things that are just like, I just love going there and experiencing all the different areas. You know, if we're talking about Niawu, if we're talking, you know, so people are actually, it's like I don't know, people are living vicariously, I suppose, through Hazuki. You know, there's a lot of people who I've spoken to who just enjoy being in that world. You know, there are several games where people just played again or whatever because they just enjoy the experience. They don't have to like beat it or anything like that. I've talked to a lot of people who are doing the same thing with Shenmue 3. They're like, I just love it. I just want to be there. I just want to hang out. I just want to, go and try and do more completionist things or something like that, because it means that much to them.
Yeah, I mean, the people are asking, like, I've heard, mixed reviews. The thing is, a lot of Shenmue fans went into Shenmue 3 thinking this was supposed to be the end of the series, when it never was intended to be, or even close to it. In fact, by the end of the game, Ryo's journey is only 40% complete from a narrative perspective. So the only way you're going to see that ending that you've been desiring ever since 2000 is, again, if we can get Shenmue 4 to happen. And as I keep saying, you want that, vote with your wallet, buy the game on GOG and Steam. But in all seriousness, it's a phenomenal game. It's unapologetically more Shenmue. If you are a Shenmue fan, this was made literally for you. It was made for the fans, and it is exactly the direct continuation. The only thing is, it doesn't end the narrative, and it never claimed it would. It wasn't intended to, and I'm glad it didn't, because it would have been an extremely rushed version. And Sega, yes, you're right. GOG and Steam is where it's available right now.
Yeah, one of my good friends, his name is John. Shout out to John. He's never played the games before, right? But in my friend circles, I just don't shut up about Shenmue. It kind of annoys them sometimes. And John was like, I want to see why you love these games so much. So me and him sat through all 3 games. We played them together from start to end. And he's never had that moment of waiting 20 years for Shenmue 3. We just went straight from Shenmue 2 to Shenmue 3. And his opinion on it, where it's coming from somebody who's just new to the series, was like, Shenmue 3 is awesome. I can see why this game is the way it is. So hearing that, is really cool. One little bonus thing that I wanted to mention as well is that John has a cat, and his cat never hangs out with us because it's just off in the cat realm or something. And whenever the Shenmue soundtrack comes on, that's the only time his cat comes and sits next to us and literally watches us play the game. And I always thought that was amazing, that music speaks to that cat.
It's Mimi.
Yeah.
Right when the Bayou Village theme kicks in, like literally he'll come and sit on the couch with us the whole time. And I'm like, that blew my mind when I saw that, because I was like, not only does this music speak to us, but it has an effect on, animals and pets and stuff too, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because my wife is not a gamer in any way whatsoever. You know what I mean? But she does love music, and she's a singer. She was a professional singer at one point, and she studied opera and all that kind of stuff. And one thing that she loves is the music from Shenmue, and she learned the music, and she sings it now. And coincidentally, even earlier today, she was in the kitchen making something, and she was actually singing music from Shenmue. And so she learned it in a language that she doesn't understand, and it speaks to her so much that she took that extra time and effort to learn it. Even though she's never played the game, she's not a gamer. It's not her thing. You know what I mean? She just, felt so compelled by it that she went ahead and did that. And actually, she even put a video of her singing it on YouTube. So you guys want to go check that out? She has a beautiful.
That's really cool.
So, there are so many things in this game that can speak to different people in different ways. And that's just an example right there. It could be something as simple as your cat, or even your non-gamer wife loving the music so much that she learns it on her own.
I think
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, when obviously the Kickstarter was announced, and
congrats,
everyone heard that first note of the Shenmue theme, we all, everyone knew straight away what it was. I think for something to have that kind of effect on someone is just, it's incredible, really, that just one note can completely alter someone's emotions and stuff, right in that moment.
I was just going to say,
when things are tough, Shenmue soundtrack always heals it.
I was going to say, speaking of that, though, like, if you want, the Shenmue 3 vinyl record set is still available over at Limited Run Games. So if you like the music in the game, you can get that too. But you're totally...
That whole vinyl set, right? That thing's amazing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like
Is it
300. What is it? It's
11?
like it's like 300 songs or something like that. It's like insane.
It's 11 LPs.
But you're totally right though that a single note can do it. I mean, I remember that E3 2015 Sony conference, and that was like the most insane thing ever because there had been all these rumors floating around, and then there was some like first announcement about how this is a game that fans have been waiting for forever. And it was like it was Final Fantasy VII remake. You're like, okay, never mind. And then you keep going, and they're like, "This is another game that people have been waiting for a long time, and you've always been thinking it was going to happen." And then this like leaf starts to fall, and then you find out, oh, you're like, "Oh, it's coming!" And then it's like, no, wait, that's the Last Guardian finally happening. And then after all this, after we're like just mentally distraught. Same exact thing. Leaf falls, the music goes, and I like lose my mind. I'm running around. Michael Huber, I think, represented all of us when he was like, live and losing his mind. That was like every single Shenmue fan going complete.
That one note.
Yeah.
Somebody I know that was in the audience at that E3 presentation was literally saying people were crying in their seats when that announcement happened. It was that.
It was such a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're kind of preaching to the choir here because a lot of people watching are Shenmue super fans, but if you are not, I mean, and you're just kind of curious, there's something about this franchise that has this amazing ability to appeal to your like core humanity and like really just bring out who you even are as a person. It's just that you have to kind of get past that. You have to just get into it and really trust that it's going to do something like that for you. And unfortunately not enough people give it that chance, but I swear if they did, which you could do on GOG and Steam right now, then you could you'll start to feel those types of things that have drawn all of us together like this in this amazing community. I mean, Sega has told us before in the past, like, you'd be stunned like how dedicated the Shenmue fan base is. They're very aware of it, and the reason they're so dedicated is because there's just some pull about the Shenmue games that just, if you give it a chance, it will really, really hit you hard in such a wonderful, beautiful way.
Yeah,
I think
very well said.
Sums everything up perfectly, actually. I'm going to do...
One thing I also loved about Shenmue 3, speaking of music, was that it goes to show how deep the soundtrack and all that goes, because we were so used to hearing versions of music in Shenmue 1 and 2, not realizing that there are more fleshed out instrumental versions of all of that music. And when there was another Shenmue project whose soundtrack is online, but aside from that, the Shenmue 3's release gave us a lot of those like really high quality versions of all that music, and it just blows my mind to know that, like, for instance, the South Carmaine Quarter, I think it's the Day theme, has a whole different version with more instruments and stuff in it, and like Wiseman's Quarter as well. It's just mind blowing. Like, how much stuff is there to this series,
There's a lot. Confirm for me. I kind of remember there being a thing where like all the music they had composed for Shenmue back in like the late 90s, early aughts there for the original set, they only used like 20% of that music, like, ever. And so like we got some of it rolled out into this game, which tells you like how much more they're still sitting on. Again, vote with your wallet. You can actually not only get that amazing music, but you can get more games. And what's Corey? I was just meaning to ask you, what's the easiest way that they could go get the game right now?
I think it's on something called GOG and Steam.
That's right.
Ooh.
That's right. You can get it right now on again. Sorry, one more time.
GOG and Steam.
Thank you. All right, I couldn't remember it, but yes, you can go get them right now if you want.
Yeah.
I should probably put the links in the chat.
In regards to Shenmue 3, as far as I'm aware, there are only 3 songs in regards to Shenmue 3 that were not made way back in the day. And that just goes to show with how many tracks are in that game, still shows you how much music there is for this game.
Yep.
Yeah. They have so much, and I've seen this with my own eyes too, so much time, effort, and research has gone into this franchise. There's so much information, just everything from people and places, but also all of the photographs that they took of countrysides and all that kind of stuff. Just a wealth of information, things that I know that have never been brought to life to us just yet. And you guys have been talking about the music, but there's so much more. There's so much story, and there's so much just detail of everything from places to people and all that kind of stuff. Just a quick story here, real quick. I know that some of you guys know this already, but they are so detailed about this project that every single person, and that's every single NPC and people in these games, I should say, they all have a name, a short bit about their personality, their blood type, when they were born, all that kind of stuff. Just for somebody who's selling flowers on the side of the street, you know what I mean? This is for everybody. So much detail goes into this game because that's going to denote certain parts of their personality. For example, like blood type, you know what I mean? So, something like that is going to be like, oh, well, are they going to be a little bit short? Are they going to be really friendly? Are they going to be a little bit, are they going to be the kind of person who's just direct about the information or something like that, So they take so much time and so much effort goes into this, and there's just so much more to see, so much more to experience. And that goes with everything, including the music, because as you guys have already correctly said, that there's so much more for us to hear and to experience. That's why we wanted to keep going. We want to see 4 and possibly beyond.
In regards to the whole NPCs with like their stories and whatnot, if you are interested in seeing a lot of that, there's 3 projects that I recommend checking out. 2 of them originated in Shenmue Dojo. I believe all 3 did, actually. You have the Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 like complete character guide, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was headed by Miles Prowler from the community. And then you also have Suka Pass, which is a great resource to get information on a lot of like some of the things we're mentioning about like extra information and stuff like that, which Jim, you can probably elaborate more on that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Suka Pass, you can just go on sukapass.com, and it's a Shenmue Passport fan-made app. If you remember, the original Shenmue came with 4 discs, and the 4th disc was the passport, which you had to connect to the internet to, like James says, read all the insane Shenmue lore. And myself and Switch, who's in the chat currently, we tried to painstakingly recreate that disc, basically, as best as we could, and all of the online features that are no longer available. So yeah, that's what you're talking about there, James. You can just go to sukapass.com, and there's links to download the app there if you're interested. It's a really good resource for at least the original Shenmue anyway.
I'm going
you guys
to
also had an amazing trailer. I love the trailer for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to totally embarrass Brett a little bit here, but when he and I were at Tokyo Game Show last year, one of the head developers of the original Shenmue games was there, and he was like one of the guys responsible for the passport. And so, Brett immediately recognized him, and he's like, "Oh, I want to talk to him." Like, but what do I even say? And I'm like, "Dude, you made Suka Pass." Like, it's based on the thing he did. Just go. You speak Japanese. Just go up and talk.
Yeah,
to him.
that's
Like,
the guy that did some of the passport stuff. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. So he went up and he he very maturely fangirled. It was something. It was a wonderful thing to see.
That's cute.
I wish I could have been there. That would have been cool.
It was great. I couldn't understand a word because it was all in Japanese, but I pushed Brett into it. But I think he was a little awkward about it at first, but then he thanked me later because I don't think he would have done it on his own. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brett. He says yes, mature fangirling indeed.
Right, I'm going to quickly draw the last T-shirt.
Go for it.
1 T-shirt.
What?
I'll get in trouble.
When you left, everybody was wondering where you went, and the whole chat was like, "You went to go buy it on GOG and Steam."
I bought
We've started a thing, everybody. Make that trend. Shenmue
right
hashtag Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam.
And actually, the winner is Shenmue AM2 podcast with the T-shirt.
No way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Great podcast.
Is that Andrew or Matt?
Huh? I don't know who it is. Find out. There you go.
Andrew, is it?
Right.
I love Andrew. Got to meet him in New York when he was here. Really cool guy.
Andrew. Yeah.
Cool.
Right. I'm going to play one more.
It's best
James.
if you can... You're right, I was just saying to Andrew, if you can just message the Shenmue Dojo on Twitter. Just it's a bit... I don't know why I'm not getting any of the messages on Twitch for some reason.
I'm going to play one more game of Lucky Hit, maybe two, because, why not?
Wait. Before you do that, Corey, can you ask him about that?
Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit?
Yes, I would.
There you go. Now you can do it. See?
There we go. I'll play a couple of games of Lucky Hit.
Lucky Hit.
Nathan's asking Corey, just as a last question. You, in apparently another stream, you mentioned some Shenmue gifts you got for recording the first two games. Can you give any non-spoilery teasers of what they were, or were they story related?
Oh, that I was given to by the crew.
Yeah.
I can't talk about that. Some of the frames that I had received, they're actually mock-ups and stuff like that. Some things are not seen in game. So yeah, it's like some things I can't talk about that. I kind of. See, now I kind of regret bringing that up because now I have to kind of explain myself a little bit. But yeah, there are some there. I did get a couple of things that I've been told to not talk about, and I'd never seen it. I've never heard about it coming or anything like that. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Maybe one day when the franchise ends, let's hope it's another, let's say it's like Shenmue 8 or something like that. Once we finally come to a close, maybe then I can talk about it. But yeah,
you got the 10X watch
because there's a couple things that were gifted to me, and they said, okay, this just don't talk about this, but we wanted to give you a couple of these things. But I do have that watch. I do have that Timex watch. They gave me one of those, which was really cool.
He's also got he's also got the complete and totally playable version of Shenmue Saturn. Just saying. It's just sitting there in his house. It's there.
I'm told to never reveal to anybody.
He can never reveal it, but he's played it, beaten it through many times. It's pretty good,
and
from
it's
what
great.
I hear.
The ending's awesome.
Yeah, it actually they finished the entire franchise on one Saturn disc. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I always love the part
it was
where
one game,
he's
but it was
on
multiple discs. It was like 10 or 20 discs. I forgot.
Oh, okay, my bad. See, I don't know. You own it, I don't. So
Right.
Yeah.
Last game of Lucky Hit, and then I'll be bringing the stream to a close, everyone.
Just a quick thought in regards to like the artworks and stuff like that. One other thing, like going back on like how like the music is like there's so much music. There's so much pre-release artwork of Shenmue and Project Berkeley and VFRPG that adds even more like so much mystery to this. Like Shenmue Dojo did a way back, like the 15-year anniversary of the Project Berkeley disc coming out, I think it was, for Virtua Fighter 3 in Japan. They, I think it was Rackham did it. English translated the entire video, or him and a couple of people. And like in that video, you see artworks of characters we have yet to see, and like all this other stuff. And like it just goes to show how grand this whole series is. It's insane. I love it.
And there's much more to come, but if you don't buy it on Steam or GOG, you won't get the rest of it. So
exactly.
Remember that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good advice. Buying the game on GOG and Steam right now. You can do that. That's
Shenmue 3.
I wish I had known about that.
The links links are in the chat.
Can Rio tell us or tell the audience where they can buy the game?
Did you know you can buy Shenmue 3 on GOG and Steam?
Perfect.
Lovely. With that last final thought, I'm going to bring the stream to a close. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. I know it's been a long one. Thank you to Adam, Corey, and James for joining us. Thank you to Skill also for helping me out behind the scenes. And hopefully we'll see you all again very soon. Winners, make sure you DM us on Twitter to make sure you can get your prizes. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
海へつながるほど潮の香り運